Amita pendwa ya vintu visume vyote kula kuibukisha Kana depotimo Wimbo wa temenu wa katongi Abazunga watita katongi na kula kuibukisha kateka Kaibuku muna kapona Neseko siove pamenso Yangu ama umebaya Iyaba Iyaba ume Iyaba ume Iyaba
Kateka wabantu Twakulira lelo twakulira Shikakukonke milimo shove Ale filamba Vietnamita pengoshile Eti kumemo kulondolo la vale Lilo wingi
Iseko wingi mwakwete Iseko wingi mwakwete Mwaya Mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
Katusi muchi mokege Wali bomba kale Lomba mwatu jatuleli laki
Benda Kumpanga mwine Kolya mwine Ide lalila Lalila Lalila
Lungu ya mama ume Ala nacho mwavye Mama
A High Court ruling has temporarily halted the repatriation of former Zambian President Edgar Lungu's remains, escalating a dispute that has persisted for nearly 10 months. The court in Pretoria, acting on an urgent application by the family, has ordered the Zambian government to release the remains to a funeral home of the family's choice, with the order in effect until May 21. To talk more about this, we're now joined by Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, who is the official spokesperson for the Patriotic Front, the former ruling party of Zambia. Ambassador, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. What is the reaction of the Patriotic Front's reaction to what has been playing out between the Lungu family as well as the government of Zambia around the remains and the body of President Lungu? And I ask this given just how unfortunate and perhaps messy the situation has now become.
We are in total shock. The entire country is in total shock of the events that have occurred the last 2 days. We learned of an activity by the Zambian government that they were attempting to illegally retrieve the body of the remains of Zambia's sixth president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, from the mortuary, from the morgue that has been holding him, the funeral parlor, 2 Mountains. And our lawyers frantically tried to stop the Zambian officials, accompanied by South African police, from taking that body. That body was taken in the evenings of Wednesday, and the family lawyers rushed to the Gauteng Pretoria Court and obtained an interdict to stop the government from repatriating that body and to immediately surrender the body as it was taken illegally from the funeral parlor. And yesterday, on Thursday, the families and lawyers and their lawyers were frantically to establish where the body was. The Attorney General of the Republic of Zambia and the South African police did not comply with that urgent order to surrender the body back to the family or to the funeral parlor of their choice. And then we learned very late in the night, when they finally found the body, that a postmortem was conducted on the remains of the late president without the authority, consent, or presence of any family member or lawyer for the family.
Ultimately, this has to be resolved one way or the other. What is the view of the Patriotic Front around what the most amicable way is to resolve this ongoing dispute between the family and the government?
The family has been very clear, and the Patriotic Front has also been very clear. The family wants to put the remains of the late president in Zambia. They want him buried in Zambia. They want this matter to be settled. And it should be done with the wishes of the late president and the wishes of the family. But the Zambian government has been bullying itself and insisting that the late president should be buried in accordance with the state protocols. The former president, President Edgar Lungu, had issues. The family has had issues, and they are merely determined that the wishes of the late president are honored, such as that at the funeral and burial that the current president must not attend. And you must know that that is not strange. For example, here in America, there's a famous senator who died and demanded that the current president, Donald Trump, should not attend the funeral. And President Donald Trump respected the wish of the family. In this case, President Hakainde Hichilema and his government have not demonstrated that they are willing to honor the wishes of the late president, hence the standoff.
Yeah, and just lastly, the government seems quite adamant, and as they made the case in court, that they are entitled to the body of former president.
We want to set a precedent. Let them give us reasons why the current president should not go near the casket. And who has told them that he wants to be near the casket anyway? Who has told them that he wants to be near the casket? If they want to say he shouldn't see the body, but who has told them that he wants to see the body? Why these speculations?
Maybe it's because you're arguing that really this must happen. Maybe that's why
it's assumptions. Even the court was asking them, presiding. The court was asking. Their lawyer couldn't explain. Presiding. You yourselves, in your written notes, you were saying Bishop Arik Banda should preside. So why are you now saying the president will preside? You yourselves. So what is presiding? They couldn't explain what presiding is. The remains of the 6 presidents have at no point been in the physical custody of the government of Zambia. They were held by the South African Police Service throughout these few days which have passed in connection with their inquest. Secondly, the government of the Republic of Zambia has respected and will continue to respect every order issued by the courts. That is not a matter of convenience. It is a matter of principle. Thirdly, the question of how a former president of the Republic of Zambia is to be laid to rest is not closed by the latest court order. Dr. Lungu served as president of Zambia for 7 years. He was head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of our defense forces. The duty the Republic owes to that office is not extinguished by a single order on custody, and government will continue through the proper legal channels and with the patience this matter requires to ensure the honors due to a former head of state are properly discharged. To the Lungu family, the position of the Zambian government is what it has been throughout. The value of a former head of state was never meant to be a contest, and it need not remain one. Government's willingness to engage with the family in good faith to find an arrangement that honors the 6th president is undiminished. Our position remains unchanged. President Hakainde Hichilema has been consistent throughout. His interest in this matter is constitutional. His concern is and has always been that his predecessor is accorded the dignity the office demands.
Saturday, April 25th, 2026. We have to be relentless. Sometimes we'll summon an audience like this at a short notice like we have done today. I didn't intend to have any broadcast, but looking at the development in the country regarding the matter we've been pursuing the last few days, that of the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, I've summoned this urgent broadcast. Kindly share that we can reach as many people as possible so that we discuss the matters affecting the Republic. Our country, I think, is highly tensed up. Our country is in serious political and other tensions. And a matter like this, just polarizes us further. And the further mishandling of this matter by the state is not helping. Hence, this urgent broadcast. I'm privileged that I'll be hosting Citizen First President, Honorable Harry Kalaba. Yesterday, I was commending him that he was the first one to respond as soon as the matter broke out in the evenings of Thursday, Honorable Harry Kalaba had issued a statement condemning the act by the state, that it was un-African, it was un-Zambian. He says they had desecrated the body by picking it up without the authority of any court, without the authority of the family, and they had taken it to an unknown place. And he relied on the statement by the Attorney General, who had confirmed that they had the body. And the Attorney General had stated that they had relied on the High Court orders of August 2025, to take the body, to keep the body and repatriate it to Zambia for a state funeral. And to see today the Attorney General issue an extensive statement to ZMBC and to the country that, in fact, they've never had custody of this body, is just not just a lie, but this is indecent in which they've treated this whole matter. Just an update before I bring in Honorable Harry Kalaba. VFP attorneys, who are the lawyers for the Republic of Zambia, for the Attorney General in South Africa, have written a very strong letter to the lawyers for Edgar Lungu's family. They are demanding, number one, that the mortal remains of the late president be surrendered to them or to a funeral parlor of both mutually agreed position. They are saying they are relying on the judgment that they got in August 2025 by Deputy Judge President Ledwaba. And in that, the custody of the body was given to the Republic of Zambia. Then this evening, Murilo Kavesha issued that statement, where now he's denying that he has not had the body. That is extremely, extremely strange. These are the matters I'll be discussing with Citizen First. Every broadcast will try to bring an authority on these matters. So quickly share the broadcast, and let everyone know that we are discussing, we are hosting my dear brother, Honorable Harry Kalaba, Citizen First President, in this perilous time. Let me just bring him on. I can see he's in the studio. Honorable Harry Kalaba, good day, and thank you for joining me at such a short notice.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and good evening, good morning, our viewers from wherever you're watching us from. It's good to be on this program. Thank you for having me, Your Excellency.
Honorable Harry Kalaba, I think I commended you yesterday that you are one of the first opposition leaders that immediately responded in the morning of Thursday when you learned that the body of the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu was removed from the funeral parlor without the authority, consent, or presence of the family. And you're very alarmed, and you issued a very strong statement. Just speak to that before we come to the latest development, where the Attorney General is now denying any involvement.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. As I had said in that statement, which I issued on behalf of our party, the Citizens First, I was perturbed. I was taken aback that in a time such as this, we can have a situation where a former head of state, a man that had ruled Zambia for 7 years, could be treated in the manner that President Lungu has been treated. Honestly speaking, this is great shame to us as a country. It is great shame to the region, and it is also great shame to our culture, because culturally speaking, what is happening should never have happened. The whole nation is in shock. The region is in shock. The international community is in shock, because we never expected that things would reach to the levels that they have reached. It is sad that Zambia is finding itself in a kind of a situation where we are now becoming a spectacle to watch by the international community. Zambia was a respected country. Zambia was a country to be consulted, never to be informed. But today we are seeing that Zambia is a country that is losing its regional as well as international status because of the behavior of those who think that they can rewrite history. It is honestly sad that President Lungu has continued to be dragged in these matters. From the time that he passed on, it's almost 11 months that he went to be with the Lord. President Lungu still remains a topical subject that has refused to die. I think it is sad. It is high time that we should reflect on this matter as a country. It is not the way to live with fellow human beings.
The Attorney General has issued a statement this evening. He's saying, first, they want the body of the late president. Number two, he says the office of the president requires that they still accord dignity and respect to the late president. He says the republic owes him the dignity. And he says even if this process is drawn out, they wait patiently through the legal process. And earlier, they had written a letter to the family of Edgar Lungu, and they were demanding that the mortal remains of the late president be handed over to them. But this is in light of what happened just, the other day, where we learned that they had conducted an illegal postmortem, despite a High Court order that was obtained a night before and served to Murilo Kabesha in person, to their lawyers in South Africa, and to all of the parties involved, including the South African Police Service. They did a postmortem on the late president for 5 hours without the consent of the family, without the authority of the family, without the presence of the family or his lawyers. The only person that was present is a Zambian embassy official who's been identified. I've named him here, who was present. When you learned that not only did they take the body, but now they had conducted this illegal autopsy, what are your views and feelings about this?
Yes, I must say that I'm still very distressed by all this drama that has surrounded our country. This morning I had a conversation with our Deputy Secretary General, Dr. Kasese Bota, who happens to be a medical doctor herself. And I was trying to find out under what circumstances can pathologists do what they did on a person without the consent of the family. And she was telling me medically she couldn't even recall at what point such a thing could happen before a family member is informed. And when you talk about burying the former head of state in dignity, how can there be dignity, or Your Excellency? Honestly, how can there be dignity when you can go and get a body from a mortuary without the family being present? How do you want to bury a man in dignity when his family, which should be at the epicenter of everything happening, has been excluded? How do you talk about burying a man in dignity when everything that has surrounded him, from the time that he was sick to the time that he went to be with the Lord, has never been in dignity? Mr. Lungu has been humiliated in his death, just getting his body without his family being around. You defy all logic of what the term dignity stands for. And again, it baffles me myself that the Attorney General can go back on his word and say that they never had custody or they never took the body. It is puzzling that such a thing can even happen. And this has become typical of our colleagues, of always wanting to believe that they can sell whatever whatever lie they can sell, believing that people will buy it. This is wrong. This situation has traumatized the country. And honestly, Attorney General Kabesha's statement has not helped matters. It has further traumatized me, because what he's saying is that he's denying what he said. What he's saying is that nothing of what he said in that letter has ever happened. Now, if a government can turn around like this 160, 180 degrees and just do whatever they want to do or say whatever they want to say, it is worrying, Ambassador, because then it also shows they don't have respect for the family who was lost. They don't have respect for a country that is in mourning. They don't have respect for a region that has been concerned about the demise of President Lungu. If they can only come back to us and tell us whatever story they want to tell us. President Lungu's story is sad. President Lungu's issues surrounding him are quite unfortunate. And the nation must begin reflecting on these issues. The UPND leadership must reflect deeply. Where are we going as a country? And what is in it for us as we go like this as a country? What examples are we giving our children? What examples are we giving our region? What examples are we giving our continent? Zambia has become a laughingstock because of poor leadership.
Indeed, when I learned, Honorable Kalaba, when I learned of this matter, I was privileged to have been Zambia's High Commissioner to South Africa, and I reached out to my former colleagues just to understand what had happened. And I was assured that there's no way. Let us assume that Mulilo Kabesha is telling the truth. Let us assume that Mulilo Kabesha is saying the matter was in the hands of the police. Number one, the police would never defy an active High Court order. There was an active High Court order. Number two, he sent me the laws in South Africa, this contact person of mine. He says the circumstances under which a postmortem can be done in South Africa is, number one, the person while alive has given consent that a postmortem can be done. Number two, in the absence of this, the spouse, the partner, or a major child, parent or guardian, or major brother or major sister of the deceased gives specific instructions and specific consent and specific signature that an examination of an autopsy can be done. That the postmortem, again, may only take place when it is a medical practitioner who is qualified for clinical services in the hospital and others, and the others are, I think, administrative. But the point is, even in South Africa, a postmortem cannot be done without your consent and without the consent of the family. That's what the law says in South Africa. You and I were privileged to be diplomats. You and President Edgar Lungu were our chief diplomats. Your counterpart minister now has issued a statement of regret in South Africa that all this is happening. He has called for truce and that for understanding between the two families. A matter which we have seen has been betrayed by actions like this by the Attorney General. Where do you think the solution lies? And number two, Honorable Kalaba, Ululu Antambi, and the way we know things. When you conduct a postmortem, the body is so dissected that it is difficult to preserve it. So there are a lot of fears by people that either we immediately bury or the body should be cremated, or President Hakainde Hichilema should show leadership and stay away from this process and allow the burial to take place. I don't know when you begin to think of the solution, I'm aware that you are speaking to the family, you've spoken to Makebi, you probably even have spoken to the former First Lady. What are your feelings about all this? Oh, okay. I'll try to reconnect with Honorable Harry Kalaba. I can see the connection is frozen. Let's just take a small commercial break as I re-establish the link with Honorable Harry Kalaba.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on What Now. I am Olamide Adeyemi. We begin here in Africa, where Zambia's Attorney General says the government has custody of Lungu's remains, which have been removed from a funeral home in Pretoria. This despite his family's claims that a separate urgent court order ruled that Lungu's body will be returned to the facility. The Zambian government says it has now taken custody of the former president Edgar Lungu's body for a state funeral. The government had been in a long-standing dispute with his family over where he should be buried after he died at a clinic in South Africa last June, while receiving treatment at an undisclosed location for an undisclosed illness. His family were open to give him a private burial ceremony in Johannesburg that will exclude the presence of his successor and political rival, the incumbent president of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema. They maintain that one of Edgar's Lungu's last wishes was that the current president should neither be anywhere near his body nor preside over his funeral. Last year, a South African High Court sided with the Zambian government, ordering the repatriation of Lungu's remains for a state funeral. Edgar Lungu led Zambia from 2015 until 2021, when he lost the elections by a huge margin to Hichilema. For a closer look at the rift over the burial of Lungu and the Zambian leadership, international relations expert and founder Pan-African Forum Limited, Dr. David Matsanga, joins me from the United Kingdom. Doctor, thank you for joining us on the World Now. Well, this is the latest tweets that we're seeing in a 10-month saga over what should happen to the former president's body, following a long-standing feud between both sides. But aside the court's decision, what's your own reaction?
This is a very sad moment for Africa. It is un-African for us to have this as a headline. When somebody has died in Africa, we don't go to this level. We have exposed our ignorance of the African values, African customs. I am one of the few people who has written to my younger man. He's younger than me because he was part of my group that used to come to listen to my lectures in London when he was in Birmingham University, President Hichilema. I have written to him this morning, telling him, please, don't do this. If there is a family, you are not next of kin. If there is a problem of push and pull, just avoid this public, court battles in and out, in and out. I think the family has a say. If the will says he doesn't want to be buried wherever it is, I have asked President Kilima to just avoid, leave it, surrender it, let the burial take place, and that's it.
Beyond, the court rulings, this is a really difficult time for the family. Now the government seems that they do not want to, accept this court ruling. But how should one interpret the Zambian government's insistence on a state's funeral, considering, it was their president at some point, but to you, does it reflect genuine national protocol, or this is another political calculation?
It's a political calculation because he knows he's going to lose the job. There's an election just coming in a few months in Zambia, you know that. And he wants to use the body of the money he hated so much to have a political capital. So I don't think the family is willing to go that route. This man had a bad relationship with the late. They had battles. He had removed the cars. He had removed the security. He has told him to return everything that was worth. Then why do you want him when he's dead? I think on this one, I stand with the family. The family has a right to take their person. They are the next of kin. The president is not the next of kin. Mr. Kalaba is not the next of kin to Mr. Lungu. Why is it so personal? He hated him when he was alive. He never gave him medicine. He never allowed him to go out for even treatment. You can imagine. So why do you want him now? He's dead. Above all, this is a shame, a big shame for Africa. And in fact, it's a big, big shame for us Africans to pretend to be.
I can see Citizen First President Honorable Harry Kalaba is back. Honorable Harry Kalaba, I'll just ask you to put the phone in landscape. Let me just take you to the studio as you do that.
Doing things like the things on the Lion and the Jewel or Lakunule. There's no need of fighting over a dead body. You are head of state. If the family says he doesn't want to see you, leave him. Why do you?
We'll play that video later. We have Honorable Harry Kalaba, Citizen First President, former Minister of Foreign Affairs, one of the longest serving Foreign Affairs ministers in our country. He was former Member of Parliament for Bahati for many years. And, he founded Citizen First and he founded an earlier party that they tried to deplatform him. I always commend him that he built a new party from scratch. The video I was playing, and I'll play it later, is a former lecturer to President Hakainde Hichilema from University of Birmingham. And he has expressed disappointment with his former student. He's also a political analyst. He says, President Hakainde Hichilema, just step aside. You know who owns the body, it's a family. No matter how much you will try to justify issues of state funeral, state functions, at the center is the family. We are looking very bad internationally, and you were Foreign Affairs Minister. Just explain to us what this has done internationally.
Thank you very much, and my apologies, Ambassador. I think the network is playing up in this country. Nothing seems to be stable in our country now. Everything is just playing up, including norms. We can't even keep our own norms, our culture. We can't even adhere to our cultural practice. Look, I think I can't belabor this point. I had the opportunity to listen a bit from the professor as he was speaking. Clearly, everybody is dismayed by this behavior. Internationally, it has left Zambia very weak. It has taken us off the radar as a country that should be consulted. It has also exposed our leadership. Clearly, Zambia is struggling with a leadership that can inspire. Nobody is going to come to Zambia now or in the near future to consult on anything if we cannot even agree amongst ourselves on how our former president should be buried. It has taken us 11 months to deal with this matter, going into a year dealing with this matter, until now when we have a situation where the Attorney General is refusing the very things that he said. Government has insisted on doing a post-mortem on the late president without the family being there. I mean, come on, Ambassador, it is just not on. It is humiliating. It is taken away from us as a people. And this has exposed Zambia internationally. We have lost a lot in the sub-region. We have lost a lot on the continent and internationally. So everybody is asking. You won't imagine how many calls I received just the other day when this story came out. Everybody's asking, Zambia, don't you have better things to do? Why would you be busy with somebody else's body? I mean, why would you be busy in the country failing to bury your own president? So everybody is talking about it. Everybody is laughing at us. We have become a laughing stock. The other day, I tried to reach out to the former first lady just to see how she was doing and to encourage her. I had no words even to talk to the former first lady because you cannot imagine this even on your worst enemy. Honestly, you can't. Apart from grieving, we are where the Lungu family has literally been humiliated. We have seen what has happened to them. A lot of issues are surrounding that family. If this is what it entails to lead a country and be punished in such a manner, very few people would be willing to go through such. I don't think leadership should amount to this. We don't want ourselves, in the event that Mr. Ichilema will replace Mr. Ichilema in government, we wouldn't want Mr. Ichilema to go through what is making the Lungu family go through. I think it is high time that the president put things in place and ensure that the Lungu family find time to rest as opposed to what they're going through now. Surely, internationally, we are a shame as a country.
Honorable Harry Kalaba, before I let you leave, the Attorney General has always used national interest, people's interest, state interest as reason to do what they're doing. They said they want to bring honor to the office of the president, and that President Edgar Lungu was president for 7 years, and that he was commander-in-chief for the same period. And therefore, as a republic, and as a people, we owe him that state funeral. The government and the UPND believe that primary reason should be respected. Is there a function as high as this that can be done without the president? Because they seem to be confusing and conflicting the issue of the president being present at a state function. They think the president is a state. I don't know what your views are, especially that you were a Minister of Foreign Affairs, and if there's anyone that would know what a state is, what a country is, what a republic is, and the differences and the office of the president, it would be you. Just explain, in light of the wishes of the late president, that President Hakainde Hichilema should not be in any part of the ceremony. Can we hold a state function without the president?
Yes, actually, we can hold a state function without the president being there because the state is not the president per se. The state is the people. And statecraft requires that if the president is not there, the vice president could have officiated. It would still be a state function. A minister could have officiated. It would still have been a state function. Therefore, it did not necessarily require President Hichilema to be present at this function for it to be called a state function. So it baffles me when I hear people say, no, you can't exclude the president from a state function. A state function is where a government has an interest, a government has attended. It's a state function. Members of cabinet constitute a state function. In fact, even permanent secretaries who are given delegated authority will still carry out a state function if it's from cabinet. So when people talk about a state function the president should have attended, we would have buried President Lungu without Mr. Ichilema being there. A 21-gun salute could have been given to the president, having served this country for 7 years and having ascended to the highest office of president. He was entitled to that. But when you begin insisting on giving him a dignified send-off, when you have humiliated the whole processes of nature, you have culturally humiliated the family, you have literally swept the carpet off the feet of everybody else except yourselves, and you're not telling us the reasons why you are pushing this agenda. I mean, where is the dignity there? Where is the dignity you're talking about that you are a man in dignity? When he himself, when he was alive, you didn't give him the dignity. He was humiliated. Look at the way President Lungu traveled when he was going to South Africa. I was one of the last people, Ambassador, who talked to him when he was going to the airport. He had to ask me to see if he could be assisted to leave the country. I was one of those who was playing my role in the background. Even the time that he reached the airport, even the time that he went on the aircraft, I was talking to the president. Even when he reached South Africa, he was courteous enough to get back and say, we have arrived. He had challenges leaving because even when he was going, he was like, I don't know whether I am going to go or not. If I don't go, we can have a meeting later on in the evenings, meaning that he was not sure whether I was going to leave the country. If he was not given the dignity when he was sick, if he was not given the dignity when he was arriving in South Africa, he arrived like a common person, a former president. Why didn't you care at that time to give him the dignity when he was arriving in a foreign country, where you should have shown that you give respect to former leaders? Why didn't you give him that respect? Why didn't you even know where he was staying when he was in South Africa? So these are things, Ambassador, that expose hypocrisy. These are things that show you that people just want to talk the talk and don't want to walk the talk. So don't talk to me about laying the former president in dignity when you never gave him the dignity when he was alive. Clearly, he was humiliated when he was alive. How will you give him the dignity after you have already humiliated him? Because it would have been good for you to give him the dignity when he was alive and maybe even humiliate him in his death. Why would you want to insist on giving him a 21-gun salute when he's in his grave? I don't think when he's in his coffin. That's not the way to go. I think it is important for us that we put records straight. There is no dignity that will be given to President Lungu when the family is being humiliated in the process. The president requires it will be important for us to give him the dignity by listening to his wife, listening to his children. What did the man want? If what the man wanted was a private funeral, a private burial, a private send-off, let us give him then that dignity. That is what is called dignity.
We've got a huge audience watching with us, and I know when I open the phone lines, and you may not be here, the issue of the state of the country, state of the nation, always comes up. We are here because of leadership that the country is regretting, and they're looking up to the opposition. I know, like you are saying, some of the last images we have is you and Honorable Edith Nawakwi and President Lungu together. This is after you had left Tonse Alliance, but we saw that picture of the three of you. Now, the callers are going to ask, what is wrong with you, the opposition? You know the state of the country. You know the state in which we are now divided, polarized, regionalized. Even the argument on social media, we can see that the country is heavily divided. We don't even know if we are going to have free and fair elections, whether they'll be democratic, whether they'll be credible, whether they'll be transparent. They are looking to you, the opposition. And the question that nags all the time, why can't you come together? Maybe speak to the issues of unity and also make an appeal to your colleagues to work together. Because in the end, it comes to how shall we redeem our country? If you are fragmented and you are disintegrated, our people fear. Despite what they've witnessed the last 5 years, you are going to give an opportunity to President Hakainde Hichilema to return to power because of your disunity and your disintegration as the opposition. Just speak to the issues of unity. I seem to have lost Honorable Harry Kalaba. I'll ask that he reconnects. Okay. Let's just wait patiently. You know, these remote connections, like he was bemoaning himself, that nothing seems to be working in our country. I'll be bringing Honorable Harry Kalaba. Let me just re-establish the link again.
The remains of the 6th president have at no point been in the physical custody of the government of Zambia. They were held by the South African Police Service throughout these few days which have passed in connection with their inquest. Secondly, the government of the Republic of Zambia has respected and will continue to respect every order issued by the courts. That is not a matter of convenience. It is a matter of principle. Thirdly, the question of how a former president of the Republic of Zambia.
Honorable Harry Kalaba is back. We lost you there, Honorable Harry Kalaba. I was bemoaning that we have a huge audience watching. And one of the issues they will raise when I open the phone lines is about you, the opposition. You are one of the leading contenders to replace President Hakainde Hichilema. Our people fear that without unity, you are giving way to President Hakainde Hichilema to return to power, despite all these lamentations on now cultural, social, economic, and other issues. The state of our country clearly is in paralysis. But the opposition, there's pressure on you to come together. Just speak to the issues of unity of the opposition and your own efforts, what you've been trying to do.
Thank you, Excellence, for that opportunity. I think I want to tell the nation that as Citizens First, we have taken the issue of unity very seriously. And in fact, if there's any reason why we should be talking unity now, it's because of what is happening in our country. Sacrology has been put on trial, and our country doesn't seem to agree on anything. I think it's a time for us to put aside our differences and hold hands, even in dignity of those that have gone before us. We as Citizens First have not just been talking the talk on unity, we have been walking the talk. We have gone ahead to have talks with our colleagues in the opposition. We have had talks with President Makebi Zulu, very serious talks, and we are still in those talks. We have had talks with President Given Lubinda. I have been to his residence not once or twice, just to ensure that opposition unity is enhanced. I have been to the home of President Fred Membe, again, just to have those talks enhanced. I have been to the home of President Mao Sampa, again in the hope of having opposition unity. Just like I have also been to the home of President Shimbaka Mbwili, again in the issue trying to enhance unity. I have been to President Sakwiba Sikota's residence even as late as today. I was at his house. I have been at the office of Madam Shalakateka, again just to push for unity. Today I was at the funeral. President Mundubile had lost his sister-in-law, and I thought that sometimes it's to camaraderie in times of difficulties. I was there at the funeral with Honorable Mundubile to commiserate with him. So we are doing all these things because the need for us to bridge the gap. There's need for us to heal the divide, so that at the end of the day, it is up to these things are granted by God. And whoever the Lord has given the privilege to, so be it. However it will be, I think ours will be to toe that line and just create unity. Because if we don't do it now, Your Excellency, if we don't do it now, I shudder to imagine what will happen in the most unlikely event that Mr. Hichilema took power in August. I shudder to imagine what will become. I doubt there will be opposition even to talk about, because all this will be decimated. So it's either we unite or we perish. And this is the time for frank talk, for us to look at each other honestly. Colleagues, we can do this. Nobody will do it for us. Dr. Kaunda and his colleagues did it. Dr. Kaunda could not have been the most intelligent at the time, but he was favored, and he took the mantle to lead the country, and we got our independence. The same thing could be 1990, 1991. They came together. I don't think Duba was the most intelligent of those colleagues of his who sat and charted the way forward for our country. But of the day, colleagues, Arthur Wina, Humphrey Mulemba, and all those guys were around, chose to say this time we'll allow President Chiluba to lead us. So if examples have been laid in the past, we still have an responsibility as leaders today to say, yes, I as Harry Kalaba would want to lead. But if my colleagues feel it is not my time, it is okay. Anybody else can lead us. And for me and the party Citizens First, we are good to go.
Thank you. The last issue, I've noted that the President Hakainde Hichilema, who's now in Kasama, had announced that he'll be in
He has come back, by the way.
Official ceremonies that he had planned, including the opening of the power plant, solar power plant, and that he had a trip to Eswatini because I saw communication from Eswatini announcing the arrival of the president. Those two events were suspended during the period we are talking about, where the body was illegally retrieved from a morgue and illegal postmortem was done on the remains of the late president. So I've just seen an announcement that the president will now eventually go to Eswatini. Foreign Affairs have issued this statement. What should be the solution? If those two events were occurring, probably they were briefing the president. What should be the ultimate solution? If you were president and a former president has died who wishes that you shouldn't be at the burial, can you step aside? What should be the ultimate solution to this matter?
I will tell you, Your Excellency, without even politicizing the matter, that ukwangala tabapatikisha. If I am told by the owners of the funeral that I should not be present at that funeral, I will not take myself there. Dr. Kaunda, I think it was 1981, when Kapwepwe died. Dr. Kaunda was told that he was not going to make a statement at the funeral of his comrade, Kapwepwe. What happened? Dr. Kaunda to make a statement at that funeral. He was stopped from making a statement. And Dr. Kaunda obliged, as head of state, he obliged and allowed the wishes of the family to prevail. Even now, if I were in the shoes of President Hichilema, and the family insists I should not attend that burial, I would honestly not attend. I would send the vice president to go and attend. I would ask a number of colleague ministers to go and attend. And I tell them in spirit I'll be with them, because I have been asked politely by the family to stay away. I think that is complicated. And it's not the first time that we are witnessing that. I don't know about the president's postponement of those trips that he should have made. But again, if I were in his shoes, at a time when the country is all these issues, this is one of the issues a president cannot afford to elect silence. This is a topical issue in Zambia now, and a president should rise to the occasion and speak to this matter and clarify this matter without let or hindrance. If you can't talk to a topical issue such as this, then what will you talk about? Because this is an issue that has enraged a lot of citizens. This is an issue that the president should have put to rest. Just yesterday, when everybody was speculating, or the other day, the president should have addressed the nation on both TV and radio, so that all citizens can listen to him. But he has not taken the trouble to do that, and I don't think he's even going to address the nation on an important matter such as this. So what does he do? He leaves us to be talking or to be speculating. However, one thing we're speculating is that what has happened without the family being around when there was a postmortem going on is uncultural, it's uncalled for, it has to us as a people, and Zambia now has become a spectacle. The region is wondering what has become of our country.
Thank you. I'll be I'll be allowing Citizen First President Honorable Harry Kalaba to leave, but let me just ask him a political question to close, and then I'll open the phone lines for your views. Honorable Harry Kalaba, the country is going to elections just in the next 3-4 months. And of course, we've already tackled the issue of unity, and we applaud you for the efforts you are making amongst your colleagues to attempt to bring them together. And I'm glad that you are saying you are the one that has visited the leaders, your fellow leaders, Honorable Fred Membe, Honorable Makebi Zulu, Honorable Given Lubinda Chimbakambwili, Mao Sampakebi. If you are the one that has gone to them, to Shalakateka, Sebastian Copeland, that's very good. And Sakiva Scotta.
Yeah.
But we have an election in the next 3-4 months. 12,200 polling stations, 1,875 councillors, 226 constituencies. Is a Citizen First prepared to go to elections now, with or without unity in the opposition? How prepared are you to cover these immense tasks ahead of you?
Look, there are two things here. There are a lot of things that have happened in the very few past months, which have changed the political scenario of our country. And anybody looking at our job, realistically so, would agree with me that running in this election, independently or alone, doesn't help matters. Unless you just want to participate and be part of statistics, you would want to say we are going to go it alone and participate alone. We as Citizens First don't want to participate in this election and just add to statistics. We would want to go in and win the elections. This is why, Your Excellency, we have insisted on going to visit our fellow colleagues and seeing how we can close ranks and help go beyond these challenges of how we can manage all these more than 12,000 polling stations. We need to train agents to protect our votes. We need to field parliamentary candidates. We need to field councillors. We need to field mayors and council chairpersons. This is a huge task which requires honesty. Yes, we have prepared. And I think I'm happy to report that we are among those parties that have prepared to go for elections in August this year. But truth be told, we need others on this journey. Truth be told, we need to hold hands. The African adage which says if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. We want to believe it is true. We want to go far. And by going far, it means we want to field in all the constituencies that have been brought about by the new dawn or by the European administration. We would want all of these parliamentary seats filled up. And we wouldn't just want them to be filled up by the Citizens First. We would want other political parties to have a stake in filling up those seats so that we can be very formidable as we go for these elections. My clarion call, using this very esteemed platform, is to my colleagues in the opposition that let us hold hands. The people have spoken. The people have told us that we need to hold hands. We've got no choice in the matter because the masters have spoken. What we need to do is to hold hands, see ways of closing ranks and making an effort to reach our masters' clarion call. We as Citizens First are answer that call of heeding what the people out there want. And I know, and I can tell you from this platform, that my discussions with State Council Sakiva Scotta confirm that. My discussions with Brian Mundubili, even as late as yesterday, confirm that. My discussions with Chishimba Kambwili, Dr. Chishimba Kambwili, my discussions with President Sampa, my discussions with Honorable Copeland, my discussions with Council Makebi Zulu, my discussions with President Lubinda, and everybody that have met Dr. Fred Membe, they have all said we need to close ranks. So Madam Shalakateka, who has been going around our offices as well, knows we need to close these ranks. Therefore, all of us have agreed that we need to do it. We have talked enough. It's time to act.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. Mr. President, I'd like to thank you. You came at such a short notice. I only gave you 20 minutes. I didn't even know I was going to have this broadcast. But when I was far away, when I learned of the issues, I quickly ran to my small studio here. And I wanted a guest other than, my own voice. And you've responded at a short notice. That's leadership. I'm grateful. But please promise me there are a lot of political issues beyond this that we've been discussing. We are worried about the state of our country if we have to hold credible, free and fair elections. It looks like we may not have democratic elections, especially with the passing of Bill 7, the electoral process bill. I would like you, when I think we deal with this current crisis, to come that we can have that discussion.
It will be an honor, to be such an honor. I really look forward to that opportunity.
God bless you. Thank you. We'll release the president of Citizen First, and we will invite you for cause over the matters, the latest development. Honorable Harry Kalaba, thank you and God bless you.
The party, friends and all. So I only lamented that why should you be stripping me of these things and then pushing me and saying, no, we want to protect you. No, you see, demeaning of the president to be seen, to be going without this or that. I said, I don't need you. You don't need me. So I was very clear. I've not complained at all. The time that I've complained is when I've been harassed. I said, you've stripped me of everything, but leave my liberty, my dignity, and my rights. That's what I'm saying, even now. You see, 1 minute, I walk the street, somebody says you can't walk the street because you're former president, you are in danger of being attacked and people might attack you and will be blamed as police. That's why we're following you. The next minute I said, but you mean you didn't know that I was former president? When you stripped me of these things, please go and put your house in order. The next minute I want to go to church, somebody goes into church and says, oh, the party, friends and all. So I only lamented that why should you be stripping me of these things and then pushing me and saying, no, we want to protect you. No, you see, demeaning of the president to be seen, to be going without this or that. I said, I don't need you. You don't need me. So I was very clear. I've not complained at all. The time that I've complained is when I've been harassed. I said, you've stripped me of everything, but leave my liberty, my dignity, and my rights. That's what I'm saying, even now. You see, 1 minute, I walk the street, somebody says you can't walk the street because you're former president, you are in danger of being attacked and people might attack you and will be blamed as police. That's why we're following you. The next minute I said, but you mean you didn't know that I was former president? When you stripped me of these things, please go and put your house in order. The next minute I want to go to church, somebody goes into church and says, oh, the party.
Time to bury. The coffin was smashed. Most people think we smashed it because it came from the government. No.
That's what I want to hear as well.
No.
Yeah.
No. My father,
coffin?
The broken coffin was put in the grave. But we could not bury my father in that coffin because meaning he was from the royal line.
Right.
And when you're from that line, you are buried in a cattle hide named Pasa. And that was a tradition we were following because those were my father's instructions.
Nothing to do with politics.
No, it was not political.
That maybe you were furious
no.
because your father had been
persecuted
by your...
No.
I see.
It was tradition. That part was tradition.
Right.
When it came to, shall we give the speech, blah, 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 now the president of the Republic of Zambia will stand up and make a speech. My sister stood up and said, there will be no speeches. And Kaunda was already standing at the microphone.
He was about to speak.
He was about to speak. She said, there will be no speeches. You will not speak.
How dare you that you can approach the sitting head of state who is about to start speaking
yes.
and you tell him you can't speak?
You can't speak.
You did that?
Yes.
Wow.
And credit to Kaunda. He turned around and he went and sat down.
Right.
It must have been not pleasant for him.
Yeah.
But he did it.
Oh, bless the soul of Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda, president, first president. Imagine his stature. This is a man that could walk into Washington, could walk into London, could walk into Peking, could walk into Stalingrad, Russia at the time. He's at the funeral of Kapwepwe, Simon Mwanza Kapwepwe. And he's being told, remember these are S12 friends from childhood friends, but the politics strained them from 1968. And when Simon Mwanza Kapwepwe beat Kaunda's candidate for the position of vice president and became the vice president of the country, the division even went further. And by 1970, Kapwepwe had formed his own political party and he was persecuted. His members were locked up. He participated in an election, won, but by 1973, there was now a one-party state. Both Harry Mwanga and Simon Mwanza Kapwepwe were excluded from the political process by those emergents. And by the time that Kapwepwe was dying in 1980, remember he tried to participate in the elections of 1978 in UNIP to attempt to come back to UNIP because it was a one-party state and it was outside the political process. He was harassed, he was beaten in Kamwala, and he was humiliated. So when he died in 1980, you can imagine the tensions. And the wish of the family was that Dr. Kaunda could not speak at that funeral. And Dr. Kaunda, being head of state at the funeral of a man who was former vice president, he tried to speak and stood. And you heard Mlenga Kapwepwe narrate that one of our sisters walked up to Dr. Kaunda and said, there'll be no speeches. And she commends Dr. Kaunda's graciousness in leadership, that the man decided to stand down. He didn't speak. He realized family wishes were more important than the politics. Why can't President Hakainde Hichilema step aside and allow this process? I didn't want to push Honorable Harry Kalaba, but he's done very well. Here, I was telling you the other day that President, during the period there was that illegal movement of the body and the postmortem, President Hakainde Hichilema suspended his trip to Mansa and to Eswatini. Today we have an announcement that he's going to Eswatini finally. And he went to Mansa and hopped into Kasama. I saw him with Mwinelu Wemba, Paramount Chief Chitimkulu Kamanga, the second. The lines are open. What are the issues? Today, VFV attorneys wrote to the family of Edgar Lungu's lawyers. They are demanding the mortal remains of the late president. They are saying that they are relying on Deputy Judge President Ledwaba's judgment in August 2025. And today, what even disturbed me was a statement this evening by Mulilo Kabesha, clearly lying. He forgot that BBC, SABC, and other media, ZNBC, have quoted his extensive statement where he celebrated, we have the body, we now have the body, we've put it at a government facility for eventual repatriation, for burial, dignified burial as they want to call it. Today he says they've never had the body. He says the body has been with the police. We know, the police know, that they can't have that body without the consent of the family. Even if they are doing an autopsy, even if they are doing a criminal investigations, there are rules and regulations that guide that process. They were aware of a high court order, an active high court order. They proceeded, they defied that court order and proceeded to conduct an illegal autopsy for 5 hours. And by the time the lawyers for the family were, Makebi Zulu was finding where the body was, it was late in the night. And it took the lawyers to call the South African police, who seemed to have expressed ignorance. I think the calls are coming in. Let me allow the calls, they are ringing in. That's what we are discussing today. And I want you to comment on these developments. Honorable Mulilo Kabesha, in any other jurisdiction, you would resign. You cannot issue a statement on Wednesday and today disavow that statement. Run away from it. You said you had the body. You said the body was handed over to you by the High Court. You said you had custody of the body. Today you want to tell us the body is with the police. I've got a first caller. Let me begin to take the calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Can I just, good evening.
Good evening.
Alex.
Yes, Alex.
I'll be very grateful. It's very sad that today, now and it's very sad that our chief in the northern province and across the country that we have not spoken to these issues faced. I'm very saddened about it. Secondly, I won't be surprised that the government in the next few days or hours they will announce that we have listened to the matter from the court. So the family can go ahead and buy. So this clearly shows that indeed, yes, I'm saying this without the truth, but there are rumors that when they collected the body, even in what you are saying, you are just saying the hours that they were doing the postmortem, but we are not talking about the night before that, because there are rumors that he was in South Africa around 05. He was given the body. So what is it that you? There's nothing at the moment. Even like I said, I won't be surprised if he's going to say that now the family can have the body because all what he has wanted to do, he has done it. And I'm just condemning the act of satanism, because the act of evil. But I know that the God shall indeed expose him. And if these rituals that they are doing is in line with the elections come 2026 on the 13th of August, God shall indeed show him that he's a God who is the God of Jacob and he is on the throne. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was privileged to have hosted Honorable Harry Kalaba, Citizen First President, and he has made profound remarks while he was here, including political issues of unity. I welcome his sincerity in calling for unity, in attempting to help unite in the background the opposition. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. My name is Ambassador Dr. Mwavakasese Bota.
Your Excellency, how are you?
I'm well, but obviously I'm very disturbed with what is happening in this country. I keep cracking my head. I've been checking the textbooks of medicine, trying to find out what kind of public health emergency could have led my good government to behave in the way that they have done in conducting a post-mortem without consent of the family.
Now, Doc, we know you as a diplomat, we know you as, our ambassador at the UN. Sometimes we forget that you are a medical doctor, in fact, of high repute. Speak to the issues of this postmortem, and as a doctor, just give us an opinion.
I am at pains trying to understand what exactly led to the government to perform this postmortem. The late president had been sick, and his doctors had already certified and they had written what he died of, And at some point, just after he died, there were those conversations between government and the family, and they were ready to repatriate the body until something else happened, circumstances beyond the control of both parties, and they could not bring the body back to Zambia. It has now been 10 months, going to 11 months, without the president being buried. And for anyone who has died, yes, the government can request for a postmortem, but you only request a postmortem where you suspect the police are involved, where there is the issue of murder, where there is the issue of sudden death, where there is the issue of somebody dying within 24 hours of arrival at the health center, and you do not have sufficient medical history to warrant the fact that somebody can die in such sudden circumstances. This is where a postmortem is done. A postmortem can also be done if they want to bring the body on a public airline. But all these postmortems, for them to be done, the family always gives consent. The next of kin always gives consent. President Edgar Lungu was not an island. He has left a widow, the former First Lady. He has left his children. He has left his brothers and sisters and nephews. Any of those could have signed off on this postmortem being done. But this was done without the family. So for me, I'm requesting that government must give us a statement to tell us what necessitated for them to perform this postmortem. Because clearly there's no indication for this postmortem, but they themselves know what the indication is, and they must give us. There is no public health emergency that needed the postmortem to be done so that we can save lives of those that are around President Edgar Lungu or those that are going to be in contact with the body. There's nothing like that. So why did they do this? And also, the family has said, let us bury President Edgar Lungu the way we want him to be buried. Because President Lungu was a father. He was a husband before he even became president. We saw what happened in Zimbabwe. The former First Family refused to have President Robert Mugabe buried at the hero's grave there, and the government complied. What is wrong with our government? Why is it only our government which is not listening to what the people of Zambia are saying? When you go to government, it's about give and take. It's like diplomacy. You listen, you give your views, you also get the views of others. And you realize that here, there are certain sensitivities that you must play to, But for our government this time around, it's their way or the highway. Whatever they want happens. You cannot have a government like that. A government must be listening to the people. We gave them the mandate to be our leaders, and they must listen to us, not just what they want. So this thing about the way the postmortem has been done is being discussed globally. I read somewhere where somebody actually wrote in the Harvard group. They said, what is happening in your country? And this is exactly what the conversations are. Our friends in South Africa are equally appalled. You and I are receiving messages. People are questioning us, what is happening? This is because this government has demonstrated inability to dialogue. They cannot dialogue with anybody. Wherever they go, they feel they should just give lectures because in them they carry the best practices of Zambia. In them, they have the best God-given brains to Zambia. And that is what is happening. But they must learn that they are there for us. They are there even for the former leaders. They are there for the family of the late president. So they must be sensitive even to how the family is going to react. This is no longer about the mengarato of politics, where people should say we must win at any cost. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you for those insights. Indeed, this matter is being discussed internationally. That's why even the video I've shown you, and I'll show it, of the former lecturer to President Hakainde Hichilema, who has expressed disappointment. He says, what kind of a student is this? Why can't he respect the wishes of his predecessor? Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
Okay, you're talking to MK6. I'm in Joburg.
MK6, make your contributions.
Yeah, I sounded a bit harsh the last time when the post-mortem was done. I'll be very calm today.
Everyone was angry. Everyone was angry. Everyone was crying. Everyone was shouting. We were all outraged at what had happened.
So let me try by all means to be calm and maybe try to take us a little bit back.
Yeah.
So that maybe we can grasp something out of this. So, look, I was just talking to some UPND supporters today because they would always want to refer this issue of ECL to the KK issue. And that is where they are standing. I think that is where even the court said, but here's the situation. The ECO family never chose any place that they want to put to rest our president in this area or that place. All they requested was for an individual who is HH not to be there. I think I would laugh and maybe think the courts did bad because the case that was presented was very different from the KK. I think, I don't know if it's me who misquoted the whole issue, but from the onset, the argument has been that HH shouldn't be near the casket or near the funeral. And that is the argument that has been there ever since. So I don't know why we can now start citing laws that are never even, not even an inch similar to what is discussed. Fast forward, the post-mortem was done. Before the post-mortem, we are told the body is lost or has been stolen from the Two Mountains funeral. And the government came out in the open and said, you know, we have the body. I want to pose this question to all of us listening after today's message, live broadcast actually from the Attorney General, saying that they didn't have a physical custody. I can ask them, does the ECO family have a physical custody of the body?
Not at all.
I should give an answer. It's a no. It's Two Mountain who has the physical custody. Now you ask them again, who is that person? Is it Yui something?
Yui Maketo from the embassy.
Exactly. In what capacity did she go and sign?
He is a man.
Okay. In what capacity did he go and sign at the, whatever the clinic or hospital they took the body to? In what capacity? If Mr. Kagesha is saying the government never had the remains of our late president in his custody, then who is Yui standing in for?
Yeah, Yui Maketo from the embassy.
Are they now saying we don't have an embassy representing Zambia in Pretoria, which you yourself was the
High Commissioner
ambassador there? So I think let's have a serious conversation around this issue and let not government think that they are dealing with fools. We are normal people, sober and very patriotic.
Thank you.
We don't want to start saying things that might incite people to do other things. Otherwise, we are a Christian country and we pray, especially that the international world, the African elders now have started talking. I know Professor very well. We've been having some discussions on. He normally comes with a lot of discussions on Twitter now. What is it called?
X.
So I know. Yes.
Or the former lecturer for Ichilema.
Yes.
Mm.
He has a lot of following on Twitter. So please, if we can have 5 of those coming out, I think the President of the Republic of Zambia should just give in.
Thank you.
Just give in so that we put to rest our 6th Republican president, because we have cried so much for so long.
MK, thank you very much. Let me take some other calls, yes.
Thank you.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contributions.
Abashumwamba, nine mumbi piri kuno kuchongwe.
Yes.
Tata ine nadishokwa.
Mkwai.
Efira bemba titwaba na mashoko. Oh, twaba n'amashoko. Nomba ine, ndefu okuipusha imwe. As you were once our representative as High Commissioner in South Africa. Isifi chitike ngani momwachiva kukuria. I don't know how many grimoires you could have written. I'm just wondering. Bashimwamba, tuchiteni co-educate. By our Zambian laws, inena ishivati ngamwachita post-mortem. By our Zambian laws, takwabo kuwekesha umubiri kumochari. Ngamwachita post-mortem. Kushika popene. That's why isitumbi fingi muno Zambia. Eche bachita post-mortem. You make sure pshika akasuba. What does the South African law say? Fidia bachitire post-mortem. Bafuira okusunga ekitumbi na kambi. Fidia ba Minister of International Affairs in Shishibe, maybe I might be mistaken, Bachelor that the court cases, court case could send another 1 year, up to 5 years. Nombo mubiri obachitire post-mortem. Can it live for that long? Nabaisunga? Because that happened, for Nasambirirefi. Siriananda pamwana wandu afuire 21 years ago. Twachitire post-mortem twatwala. Erongani accident mu Zambia. Iringi, you do a post-mortem. I just learned, uyumulamu wandu wafuire. You heard of a priest uri wafuire kuchipata. That was my husband's young brother. There was no post-mortem which was conducted. That's why we took the body, but used the kuchipata. We buried on Thursday. Because the family said there was no need. Bad Shivatini accident. It was up to the family. 2. Has it been confirmed? Chachi follow mwachamba na bakalaba. Chachi naba chitire witness ifiture umfwa. Chachi nema staff bako embassy kumweso.
Kurimulmendo at Yui Maketo, who's being cited, who was present at the collection of the body, who was also recorded at the postmortem. So the Zambian embassy was represented by a gentleman called Yui Maketo.
No, but abomba ku Zambian embassy.
Mkwai ni first secretary political.
Okay, but political ni by intelligence. Okwaba ku embassy na nomba.
Yes.
Or he was recorded. Okwaba. Okay. Nomba, if you're not me kushefi ama post-mortem, chitene educate, what does the South African ovo kushika pantuile ni sakamana?
Mkwai,
what's the reason?
I think let me answer you through the broadcast. You can watch.
Okay.
So I think that question, after you do a postmortem, you have to bury immediately, is not a legal question. I think it's a biological issue. When you open up the body, it is extremely difficult to preserve it. If it is intact, but when you open it up, it becomes extremely difficult to preserve the body. The body degenerates quickly. So it's not a legal issue in my view. It is a biological issue of what happens to the state of the body. I noticed that the other line is off. Let me just try to quickly connect it so that our people can call, because that's the open line. Thank you, Mama Mumbipiri, who was calling on that, and thank you for your views, Mama. Let me pick this call. Yeah, let's just wait. Today we are discussing. We had Honorable President of Citizen First, Honorable Harry Kalaba, who helped with the discussion here. And he put it in context in his capacity as former Foreign Affairs Minister and in his capacity as an aspiring presidential candidate. I think he gave us some very good insights. Let's keep on calling. The other line, I'm just activating it. I noticed it was off.
What a day. What a day. Nale Monaco, Zambia, it's a Christian nation. There's no way you can do that. Zambia is not a Christian nation. Zambia to the devil. We've sold our country to the devil. Zambia is not a Christian nation. Caught me wrong. Zambia is not a Christian nation. Because ngamulatina lesa tetumutefya soft tetumusendio mubiri wa muntu wali president wa Zambia. You go and open someone's body. Never na family yako takuri. Takuri blue.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
No family.
Yes, you are. Mr. Zulu, make a contribution.
Yes, the first observation or first contribution, I listened to Honorable Kalaba on the program. He was very articulate. And I have liked it when he says that he is also fostering unity of all opposition leaders. But this thing we've had it since for the last 3-4 years, opposition unity. And now we are getting into the D zone. But they are not uniting. They're all talking about unity and being united, putting up a front to fight the regime in power. We are worried as a country, we are worried as voters that we need a flag bearer as quickly as possible and not just promises, because things that are happening in Zambia and what we are seeing, it's not making sense and not giving us a good light of where we are going. We need unity of purpose and to get rid of this guy. Now, on Vakavesha, as you rightly pointed out, Vakavesha announced that the body is with them, the government of Zambia, through the representative in South Africa. He cannot now turn around and refuse that, no, it was in the hands of other people. I know why he has changed his story, because his credibility has been shredded. He is worried about the court cases that are bound to come because of their attitude and act over Israel's body. Nobody is happy about what they've done. So he cannot start now absorbing himself and say, no, it was not him. No. And we Zambians, what we have seen, the inconsistency, they are pushed to have this body. That is why now, even Zambians who were doubting that they wanted something from that body, they have now agreed. Because they've seen Umupampamina, takwa bafie, a body shiri over. Somebody who was the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the president of Zambia being carried in that CDF type of a police van. No. There was no dignity. They stripped Edgar Lungu in life. They stripped his dignity. They went and now followed him in death and stripped his dignity. And this, to me, they've lost legitimacy to rule Zambia, and they should go in August. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is, you can call. The line is now open. I didn't realize that it was off. You can now call our open line. It's now on. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Mama T.
Mama T, make your contributions.
Thank you so much. Mwamba ndefa first ntotele ba doctor waba abachitile explain bwino.
Dr. Kasese Bota. Yeah, Dr. Kasese Mwaba Bota, yes.
Yes. Ndefo okubatotela pakalamba sana okwebatawe balondolola bwino because natumva abanesu balefo okuchita twist ili ashe. So nomba inacho nalala ndanichi. I've been calling ever from the day the body was, we were told that the body was stolen up to today.
Yes.
So nomba inefende fokulanda nifi. If we're to live in African, we are Africans, we have a culture. Twalukwatama traditions yesu. Apart from baisieo kuba the former head of state, baisieo bali loko bafumine. Hello?
I can hear you. Continue.
Okay. Apart from baisieo kuba the former head of state, before he became a president, he was someone's father, he was someone's husband, he was someone's brother, he was someone's son, he was someone's nephew. Efyo twaishiba. Bamwamba abo abaku embassy abo. Uyo wino yo at secretary political whatever if you must explain. That we shibe nga nakwata ilya yakwe bati abe pamubiri wa batata, because balungu bali a father of the nation. Kakumushtai nani kane postmortem umuntu kulaba okulepula omubiri era pakulepula omubiri balafunye efyakufwala. Apo ponse apo protoko yakana kulingana n'ekifulo ekyo bakwete batata. So nomba government, as much as they want to twist this issue, ukulanda okweba ati yo pali bakawunda chali fine like my other brothers said, to say these are two different issues. Pali bakawunda takwali atawo tatwefa abalungu babe pachiriro. Ubwata twakwete wakweba ati abana babakawunda balandira okweba ati tulefa tubashike oko twashikire bamayo. That's the only debate that we had. But the debate that we had with the burial of ECL was for Hakainde not to attend, not bakabe pachiriro. Bakaste preside pachiriro chabalungu. And the reasons are very clear. Nanguni nebo 13 sumine. Hakainde tabapere po balungu muchinshi, not even a single day. We saw what Hakainde did in Lungu. He intercepted the presidential matake via Lungu. But the way he's twisting this issue, he says that ECAO is treated by Hakainde. How? Lero nangu bapinwe omuntu nga bali mine ukuya mukuchinga presidential matake via Hakainde. What will happen? Because right now we have a lot of people who are in prison. Former cases are clear wino. If your fiance not wishiba. Hakainde obsession yabo bakwete pali ba ECAO. It has gone beyond measure.
Thank you, Maya.
Umuntu mufwa because of the obsession that he has. He has failed to perform. He has failed to fulfill his promises. He has failed to bring minimum at 50 kwacha because of the obsession that he has with ECL. But following him mpaka kumochari, this is uncalled for. Number 4 Hakainde, Babere statement, him being the head of state. Baba Yola Lumango Valera that if you also be Balungu. If you want to say you kwa mcharo ni balungu. Na lero ifo tulelando kwa bat. If you want to say, postmortem ya chitike, Hakainde alishibe. So if you want to say Philippa Mto wa Hakainde, because Hakainde is the president of this nation. He should explain it to us, the people. Because we are doing it in the interest of the Zambians. So us Zambians, we want to understand. We want to know why. Why tabatu stay informed kwabati mwe bantu twaya ku South Africa tusende ekitumbi ky'abalungu tuye tulepule tumone if abantu ikwepa info y'abalungu fingi yo bali bashute infuti because he was dealing in the drugs tunafa abatweba amabullet nga bali yasanga mu mutwe w'abalungu yo balungu tabafwa balungu opo baba tunafa babanete balungu abamwewo kale opo baba tunafa fyose fyo tufishibe ate n'omuntu nga mwamulepula omubiri fyo fini baleranga bonse iyo inede mufire mwashiika ngamba batwebe apa balungu twale abasunga shani mwenfumu ishakukipata muri kwisa. What are you doing about this issue? ECL came from Petauke, Eastern Province. Ngali bakainde fire basitikire fya musango bamukuni nga nabaya ku South Africa ko bayagalira kulya kwine ngai mwenfumu shesu muri kwisa church bodies muri kwisa ichi chitika muri nazi tamule muri chitika muchalo fwe barelanda ifoni tutubishi abanono ngai mwe bambi muri kwisa makebi achepa mwafwenu mwaiche lero mule musonte eminwe eo makebi ashteshana ali echitumbi tukwate hati. Let's fight for this country. This country belongs to all of us. ECL deserves respect. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you very much. The lines are now open. You can call on the open lines. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mama.
Hello, my dear sister. Endita. Bana Nyirenda Kusilverest. My dear sister, make your contributions. We can hear you very clearly.
Okay, na totera na posha kono mkashano wino fumine ko nabatumene wonse nabaposha nabale kutika ko kumulaba so nabaposha bamwambe fina landire mama chukulando kwe bati fwe baleranda natuchepa infumushe sushisha kuchipata shiri kwisa chishinga eba hikainde bali mumaseozi ba mukuni bali kukire no kukuka bali sala ndapo na machuka tinakumandane kuti nalala bati abantu infumusha kumwesi nashikala tondolo makebi nachepa alefu aiko kumwafuirisha ninte sana statement papere bakalaba nami toteranga mule ufwa ifina mulandiro kwe bati mulelashanya n'abanenu bose tieni mwikatane kwati amabanzi mwiba kwati fitu muwefya kwati mulekane wanu mwana nefitu twatutemo zoona ichitumbi chabalungu bashita postmortemu n'abatalala tondolo n'abo mfweso niso ninashibekata teti bekale 3 days kwabula kupera statement bafuire batweba statement batweba fe basangire kuri balungu ni finshi efa tulelolera banapeza vitani mu mubiri mwa balungu ero efe balefisa ukuchiro kwebe chalo fyashani ba president bachara bamailo balenda kwati yawe kunu moku takwali umutende abantu balechula aba president pakupoka bu president kwati baba ba president badishira no bushu bwingi sana example kuri bamayo ba mumbipiri bali babepesha kumankuko bamayo ba mumbipiri bali kala mchifungo state ali sana ukati balipa yo muntu palasi bamati fyabu fuliomo na mayo munesu uwa kumongo aisa bakana tete mfenge na mayo munandu kwati bamukake uwa bulo mulando akano kupela obunto bwabufi bamayo ba mumbipiri babika panole bali shine nefintu fingi lecho alandireshan pali bade bachise kidnap bade pali baidisi na wakulecho alandireshan chonse fyali talala ero aba kuchechi na abatalana kulizi bahikainde nganabo mfa kuti balekisha babo ife babebero kwe bati umuntu ufuire wakwata umutima ulio wa chikuku umutima wako bati nangu nawe wikala kwata oluse bomfuire ko oluse bamama bamayo bana Lungu Africa bayita ti Mother Africa tabeta ti Father Africa bamayo bamutinta efe balepitamo abanenu bamayo bana Lungu lande niko na ba president ba HH abo ukwe bati ife mule chitefi tafi weme abantu abakoserera ukwe bati shide shitumbi paka fe baya mukulepula ni ba government uletungula government ni nani ni ba president ba HH nomba abantu baleti no kulanda sai babaleta ko yi iya kwe bati ngo umuntu alanda kufanono ali mchifungo twalaika lashani pachalo chesu cha Zambia please twapapata mwe bantu bakwalesa.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you.
Wapangwa shani kanshi mwe bantu mwafyalwa shani. Twami papata. Tulefa ya statement ya londoro ukufuma kuli ba uteko wa UPND. Efe basangile kuli ba Lungu ni finch efe tulefa ya tulelolela. Ngakuntu ikata balatu ikata. Omwana tulefa ekintu kiri right ekyo balekita mu kyalo kyesu kya Zambia. Zambia inoseya muntu umozi anditeba first president kutungula kino ekyalo aba bena banamba 7 kushire bambi baleisa tatulefa omuntu wakwisa mukututeka kwa kibushobwa
Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you, my dear sister. I have 2 calls waiting. Let me take this first one. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
My name is Lungu Ali, calling you from Lusaka.
Lungu Ali, make your contributions.
Yeah, I have 3 items that I would want to put a word this evening.
Okay.
The first item is over the funeral of our late president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. The desperation of this government to access that body has shown to every Zambian that truly it is not just a mere coincidence that these things are happening. Ambassador Mwamba, this government is giving us a picture that we never wanted to see in our lives. I don't know what they are, what they were up to, because I think they reached what they wanted. Now you can even see they are relaxed. They can even withdraw the case. They can now take the trips that they never wanted to take. In short, a lot have been said about that one. The main issue that I want to comment this evening, Ambassador Mwamba, is the issue of the opposition unity. I remember so well when Davis Mwira was telling the PF to say, you guys, let's campaign. Because if we are going to lose power, we are going to end up in jail. I think most of you and most of the people in Zambia thought those were mere words. Dr. Kamwiri and all those that are in prison, I think they are able to remember to say this. I think someone had spoken about this. My appeal this evening to the opposition is that if they don't unite, there will be no freedom to talk about. We don't know if 2031 elections, how it will be if the UPND government reassume power this August. Therefore, this try and error thing that the opposition are doing and wanted maybe to participate for the sake of participating, as Harry Kalaba had said, they might not have the opportunity to be on the ballot in 2031. Because look, this government is doing all what it can. That is to remove the freedom that our forefathers fought so much for Mother Zambia. As we are talking about, a lot of bills, they have focused on changing the law. What does that tell the Zambians?
My brother, I have to cut you I've got almost now 4 people waiting. I think we've heard you. Let me just
Okay, let me conclude, Ambassador Mamba.
quickly conclude. There are 4 people waiting in queue already.
Thank you so much. What I would want to say is that, like President Harry Kalaba has said, my appeal to the opposition is let's unite. Let's unite so that we unseat this Aluri and the government that is very bad-hearted. Because we are going to start fighting for independence that Kaunda fought for. Thank you so much. Good evening.
I think this is Dr. Bishop Pobupe. I remember the number. Sir, welcome, Your Grace. Welcome to today's broadcast.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for the opportunity to once again, speak to the nation through your broadcast.
I have hosted you, Bishop. Indeed. I have hosted you, Bishop, first of all, because you are passionate about widows and orphans. Your entire ministry has been based, on helping orphans and widows. And you came here, you've cried for Mama Esther Lungu. Now, these developments where the body of the late president was literally stolen, the second day it was subjected to an illegal postmortem and mutilation. What is your reaction? What have been your views?
My reaction and my views are just consistent with what people have spoken. Passionately, people have spoken on this subject. It is ticklish. Now, all I can say is that wisdom is only wisdom to the wise. To the unwise, wisdom is not wisdom at all. And the reason why I'm saying this is, it is only wise people who can listen to what people are saying. Otherwise, this subject is very, very painful, as everybody else has observed. My advice to everybody is that be careful in whose hands you place power. This is a very important statement, and let's take hold of it. Be careful in whose hands you place power. Even wherever we are going, even in future, this wisdom must be observed. I got it from one of the bishops who spoke to us. He said, young man, be careful in whose hands you place power. Because what is happening is revealing what people we are dealing with. You can't pretend that we don't know. Ukupama kuntumbwene. Ukupama. It is like we have a dead conscience. Zambians have lost their dignity, their respect within a very short space of time. I cannot work or walk with my head, lifted up because of what has been going on. Now, somebody was asking whether the president can say something about this. Maybe he also didn't know what is going on, just like the way the issue of recruitment, he didn't know. Maybe that's the case, I don't know, So we need to hold our leaders accountable. According to Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, it says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of their heart was evil continually. If we have that kind of mindset that is evil continually, even the things we do will not be good. We'll just be making mistakes. Make a tree good and its fruit will be good. Make a tree bad and its fruit will be bad. For the tree is recognized by its fruits. So be careful in whose hands you place power. I'm not going to lament. I've spoken what the Bible says in the time past. I've pleaded for the widow, and everybody has done that. How can we, as a people, act as if we have no conscience? That's where the church must come in. Many leaders are practicing lies, deception, oppression, and their followers, are selfish. They have fish motives, including the leaders. So let's learn something from the happenings today. You can only fool one person in the whole world, and that is yourself. Nobody else. I can fool nobody but myself. So that's what I can say about this. It's too painful.
Thank you.
You can't allow such kind of happenings. Be careful in whose hands you place power.
Thank you, Your Grace. Indeed, Your Grace, Bishop Dr. Paul Wupe, he says, be careful in whose hands you place power. Thank you, Bishop, for those powerful words. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Bamunkonge, mkwailandeni po.
Ambassador, ile ma question shino nshikuna ana afula sana. Sometimes in the tontonkanya chushe abantu bale tuteka chalo nshwale kako before. Nshitayo nse twajikere pona abantu aba musangwe fi Zambia mpaka bakula bafika na paberere. Ambassador kwena etwale sende kyalo kwati nyuli omwaishe wakwebati na kwatane chintu kumina baremo batwabura tawo nshigurire bati nshana kwatakubi mbasa danga twayipsha makweshe uri ayoywe abombera ko ani ari ku members uri sergeant ari pa police station so ni shura sergeant afune pa police station nokoyarora ku embassy amba nokwipsha pa embassy ndipo ako wiwi wiwi wangaranyishanya na babiri ati wikira amusenga kuti in which capacity oya sergeant na secretary wako embassy bengera kuya kumugwira okutenda bote nokuya itwara kula kwine bari abantu bakwalisa ala mure bako nobune muteka abantu abakwatano mu bisigo abakwatana makampi mutaka batamaka mpingwe alikuwa chawa mafie mwafala ku cyaro cy'indyo cyo mwari karaku pantu muteke abantu abakwataka mpingwe ngatama bataka mpingwe wa ambassador asharanga bakamisha nati mutushama Ora ngana Zambia bonzi ababa chitanga tuwaranga pari vari ukirenji kwati china ibu amangano aya kuiri ukirenji aya kwa kolo chimbiwa ambassador ngero mbako uyu umunesi makepi zoro mwaba nesi mwebu tuwa wana na nae na mchana na mkwati tuntu nkanyeni po ili wakateka wafu umunenu umwatire Aisa mjoi na kuna kusambia kwa turushe hapa mungu teko uleteka yaba wone bana mwana nani wakala baina ndemi romba ko nicho na wone timulema ndati ba opposition ni kataneni wakala ba mwita mumbai kenze paliashi like ni wachita ruchuru bya fanshi like ni wakamwiri like ni kwa given winda iyo group yonse mugari okweba onse mu mwaba yapa mwalisa rageta uyu wanje wala bitungurura kuki musupport generation umwana bitabe kusha hostage hapa arwe kwemkondo aba ikichi arwe kwemkondo yaba mukamufirwa n'abana ese arwe kwa abera Zambia kwa ndo wakuyapo abantu abanka Harry Kalaba namwalika abantu abaranitendera just mwirika kuba opposition party abandi wandale n'abantu baranitendera barandeni na venena ngachakwa amatwatano kumva ama muri hotela Harry Kalaba rani papata baranene wanje aba mukati kana ngana chakwa abati baklo kwinira kugena na chimba chakira ndekukwangara kwa chichoko na imwana nanga mwa box over ma problem ya nitatika PF structure na mwabusi mwenu bantu bambira atubamona ndio ba makepi baba mugwatya bondi ni kidena makwata preference ya kweba chibakwati mileage yakwendera mu politics. Nombaga tamwendere pamo nishbure woshesha pamima. We taking advantage pantumu neno alina ma problems. Problem wako ete ilina palimwe pantu onse mu ba opposition. So bakaraba mweba iberere. Kuma nyani bonse abali mu PF na penda. Aba chimshenye na ba Cape Zulu. Abo bashire ko okutungirira ba Cape Zulu bakaraba. Bare keni. Mu para milani ma Cape Zulu na bena Zambia. Wotamyumfwa. Wotamyumfwa teko wetega mwa paramina ni shwapango waka ni shimbawo position. Yuni kunisha moneka.
Thank you, Bamunkonge. Bamunkonge. Natasha. Bamunkonge. Mkwa. Bamunkonge. Awale tumavengi. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution.
Mr. Ambassador, this is Nameless.
Nameless, make your contribution.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Yeah. Anyway, Ambassador, all I should say is all is said and all is heard. All is brought to our attention. Our eyes can see through. And at this point of time, we have even borrowed the hoof's ears to grasp everything. Amashiwe akubati tuingalanda tatukwete. Lero chondefu afyo kulanda chapo ibati. I'm so pleased, even though I just caught you in the middle, just when Kalaba was about to go. You know, you featured Kalaba, the aspiring president, who has given us the insight, you know, on the matter as it stands. He has also assured the country that unity is about to prevail. Yeah, in fact, I think this is what we should focus on. This is our biggest concern. Yeah. You know, we are left with nothing but unity. I just want to make an appeal to all the political leaders, who are behind this scene, to actually, or maybe tightly, keep their words and demonstrate to the nation. Another important thing, Mr. Ambassador, raising awareness to people in rural district is vital. You know, I don't live in Zambia, but I've been trying to get contact from most of the people, and people who are remoted, most of them are so behind in knowing what's happening. You know, they should get educated in the protection of a vote, Bamwamba. You know, it's so sad that there's so much that has happened during the election period. And one thing you have to keep in mind, all of you, is that there is a big distraction. This is another distraction. Whether we like it or not, it's another distraction. Then lastly, I have heard from most of the people calling upon the churches, calling upon the chiefs, saying that chiefs are quiet, churches are quiet. Bamwamba, you know, when there is a lion that is coming towards you, you don't kill the lion by its head. You have to go behind. You have to have a strategy. Ababantu, they are not quiet. They know exactly. They can't be like us. When we hear something, quickly we start putting things on social media, what and what. They know how they work. We need to give them time. They have heard. People have been talking. They know what they are doing. We need to give them time. They are not quiet. You know, when you are dealing with the devil, you need to be very, very careful.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I've got two more calls waiting. Let me start with this one. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you. This is Uncle J. Mine is short and quick.
Yes, Uncle J. Make your contributions.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to thank President Harry Kalaba. I I think he was sincere in his message, and you can see the genuineness coming from him. And we pray that that actually become a reality. Then secondly, on the issue of Kabesha's statement today, I think we Zambians are not foolish. You know, you can't hit us and tell us we have not hit you. We've been hit and we've seen, we know what we saw, we know what we heard. So there is no narrative that can change that fact. What happened is they didn't expect this backlash. So this is just mission aborted. They did what they wanted to do. The next step was just going to say, no, HH will not be part of, the funeral any longer. But when they saw the kind of backlash they've received, this is why they were fidgeting what to tell the nation. This is how they cooked up this lie and brought it to the fore. But we are not buying it. We are Zambians. And Zambians, we have the ball in our hands. We have the ball in our hands. Let us decide for our future. Do we want to continue with this kind of behavior of the government that will not listen to the people, that are going to, really to trouble the widow in this manner, or perform rituals against the norms and the customs of our traditions in the country? The answer is no. Let us decide for our future and the future of our children. We cannot continue in this dark path. We need to create a better future for our people going forward. Not this government. Come August 13th, let us decide.
Thank you.
Are done. They have dug their war, just like Mama Edith Nowapi declared. These wars that you are digging, you shall fall in them yourself. This man has dug his own war and he has fallen in it. This was the end. It was a nail in the coffin. He thought Edgar was done with him. But Edgar just responded and has done this for Zambia. I thank you.
Hello, caller. I noticed Honorable Mumbipiri is back. Hello, Mayo.
Yes, Vashmwamba. Kwaishachi Kwisho Kulanda. Two things. The first thing, me, I'm so shocked that our learned Attorney General, Bamuliro Kabesha, for him to claim that what the President Hakainde Hichilema is doing is constitution. Doesn't he know that there is no law in our constitution that bounds the president's family to bury them at Embassy Park? Doesn't he know that? Me, I know, because I served twice as a lawmaker, one elected under the leadership of Amusa Mwanamwambwa, second time nominated under the capable leadership of Patrick Matibini, not in Parliament to Kwete. No. Doesn't he know that Washimwamba Munjaskoko? Is there any law which describes in Zambia how a president and where they should be buried? Or it's just for convenience? There's no binding law. And secondly, let me take this opportunity to thank President Harry Kalaba. You know, that is the first president, opposition, who has come out in the open to tell us, the people of Zambia, that is willing to follow and to support whoever is going to stand as a president apart from himself, who can make Zambia change this government. Bakalaba, Moyo, because Kale, Moalela, that you are not ready to escort anybody to State House. For you to have said that, and let me remind you, Mwamba, at Balandideshi, Olobalelanda, Naba Makebizulu, at is ready. efo tulelo lela efyo tulefwayo okufa kuli bose ba opposition na lero nabwekeshapo imwe mwebe emine mule munati mukawina mweka tule munati atina imwe nabamishita ichofondera ndafyachinde and truly take time until tupange chakusa bose ba opposition ero umwaka yedipira 100,000. And as I conclude, nayo ba Esther Lungu abena Zambia bali emwa. They can't, most of them, people are so poor. They can't even afford, and with what is happening, xenophobia, me, that's what I call it, South Africa. People are even scared to South Africa. You could have seen a lot, those who can afford even by bus, come and be with you at this very trying moment. But ukuboko kwakwalesa mayo nangu abale umfwa kumwari ku South Africa mwabeba ukuboko kwakwalesa takwaipipa kutali we are praying for you, your children, ba sister Babetha, we are praying for you. Alaleso kwaba at the end of the day, your history makers, your names will be mentioned. The mistreatment you have gotten, the shame people think they have brought on you will be glorious one day. You'll be heroes. Thank you, Bashimuamba.
Thank you very much. I've got so many people waiting. Let's be quick. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes, good evening. Who's calling and where are you calling us from?
Can I choose to remain anonymous?
Anonymous, continue with your contribution.
My contribution is simple. With what has happened in the past few days, I think what I can explain is that I'm outraged. I'm so disappointed. I'm ashamed. And we're citizens of this country. The things that are happening. Now, this matter for me is not a political matter. It is now a moral issue. We respect our values as a people. What really are the motivations for the things that are going on? So my appeal is to the opposition in politics and all of us. I think if we don't like what we are seeing now, it is a high time everyone stood up and took part in processes that ensure that we have leaders that respect and honor our values as a country and the laws that we have given ourselves to govern. We cannot continue to live like this. We need all of us to take part and reclaim our country, because this path we are on is definitely not leading us to a place we want as a nation. I thank you.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions.
Ambassador Mukambana, Anonymous from Zambia.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Kukamba pali wakainde ni kutaya time, because wakainde ni muntu amenali bensoni, ni muntu amenali be sazoneramo, ni muntu wakuti aona monga Mazambians ni wana wake wapanyumba. Akainde ichilema atipanga blind aona monga ati ife sitiziva ati ana counseling jani ya kumansa. Akansolinga jani ya kumansa after wene kavesha wapa chitumbi chawa Edgar Lungu lamvera ati wapa ku South Africa. Akainde chilema akansolinga jani na kufurahinga kwenda ku South Africa kwendoka gwira mu mbode ya mzake. After gwira mbode ya mzake akainde chilema na choka ku South Africa kutamanga kugwera kwenda kumansa, aenda kumansa na kushita proceed lero aenda ku kunankani ku Northern Province. So akainde chile maona munga nchifantu opwalala. so tifuna kumuzivisa kukamba nakainde chilema pani kutaya time inkhani ili apa nyo va opposition vamene vakamba vakalava ati va opposition vonse vagwirizane ndiye business amene tingakambe kulibe vamene muzakamba akainde chilema amene angachite akainde chilema ni munthu amene alibe matu alibe nsoni vatate vaja vali disgraced si vatate vamene mungachetekere vanawina power na boza kulibe vamene vachita vonse vachita cheva upu vavekaveka so game amene ili apa ni kugwirizana va opposition kuvachosa vatate ava vatate vazatipaya vonse tizafa si vatate vabwino ava olo 1 zikomo ambassador yankangoni makozi enango.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contributions.
My name is Muntu Mususu. I'm calling you from Lusaka, Zambia.
Muntu Mususu, make your contributions.
Thank you very much. It's tragic indeed. Zambia is on ground zero today. It's tragic. It's tragic. We want to thank Professor David Masinge for what he has said. I follow him a lot on Twitter. He has nailed it. President Hakainde Hichilema has brought colossal shame and disgrace in this country. The entire world now is laughing at this country. I don't even know how he's going to go anywhere with his head high now. How do you perform a postmortem without the knowledge of the family? Masinje has said that you are not the next of kin, President Hakainde Hichilema. President Hakainde Hichilema, political power is temporary. It's just for rent. It's not that all of us now you start treating us like your cattle. We are not your cattle, President Hakainde Hichilema. So you have seen now, after attempting 5 times to assume office, this is how you come and perform. I was telling the people before this man became president. I was telling the people on radio all over on TV, I told the people. And the people used to say, no, Mususu just hates HH. Have you seen where we are now as a nation? This man has brought a colossal case on this country. This will be a generational case. It's like the case of Patrice Lumumba was. You have seen that Congo has never been the same now after throwing Patrice Lumumba in the asset. This is now what this man has been. This is after 7 years of attempting. This is how he comes and performs. After doing the postmortem and getting maybe whatever he wanted to get. This is when Mutima Wankala Manje, we are ready to do whatever we want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, countrymen and women, even the UPND members themselves, I'm appealing to their conscience. The UPND members themselves, I'm appealing to their conscience. And if there's only one major aspect over these August 13 elections, it is this same thing. Each and every Zambian must reflect over this before you go in the ballot and put your vote. We are appealing. I'm also very humbled by the approach that has been taken by Citizen First, Harry Kalaba. That is the attitude we need. Opposition leaders, please, we are appealing to you. Rally behind Amaya Esther Lungu. There's no one who can wish what that woman has gone through. There's no one. There's no imaginable kind of pain you can imagine on a person than what that woman has gone through. So we are appealing to opposition leaders to ensure that they rally behind that woman. This issue is for prayers. This issue is for prayers. Zambians, this is the time for you to be on your knees. You were told, one Catholic person said, when a prophecy is given, they will say that it's better you rig elections than to allow this person to come in. Didn't you hear that? Didn't you hear all of you what Bishop Chomba said on a public rally? Didn't you hear? And you have seen today everything that people said is coming through. Everything your ambassador Mono, what people said about this man is coming through. For me, I thought that he'll come and be different. And he put the people to shame. Even me who condemned him vehemently. Everywhere. Ambassador Mono Mwamba, I didn't intend to talk today. I just wanted to listen to the views across. So after listening to all the views, the comments everywhere, I started chipping.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, a lot of people, even me, I didn't intend to have this broadcast, but the lies of Honorable Kabesha forced me to quickly come to the broadcast. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
You are speaking with Moses Nyendo, and I'm calling from within Lusaka.
Mr. Nyendwa, make your contributions.
Thank you so much. But before I make my contribution, let me mention that I'm UPND.
Okay, my brother.
I have two issues. First of all, I think Makepi is being unfair to the family because he has his interest, and the best that could be done is for him to stop representing the family so that he can spearhead his agenda of being the president away from this issue of Edgar Lungu, because what we are seeing is him trying to use Edgar Lungu body for a campaign, as a campaign message. So let him stop that. And then for those that are saying, no, HH want to use the body for rituals, the question that I have for them, my father used to use a lot of traditional medicines.
Your father used to use traditional medicines?
My father used to use a lot of traditional medicine.
Are you the one that called yesterday, my brother? The one who said
the question is there anything that you can get from a loser? It's a question.
Are you the one that called? I think you are the one that called yesterday.
Edgar Lungu lost, and he's even losing again in his death. And yet you want to say HH is using him for rituals. What kind of rituals would HH, get from Edgar Lungu, who has just been a loser from the beginning?
Now, tell us something. Just a minute. My brother, you've said you are from UPND. I remember yesterday you caused a stir on the broadcast when you said if it's the body is just 1 hour from South Africa and Lusaka, and you said President Hakainde Hichilema has already seen the body. Now today, just a minute. Yeah, just a minute. I now allow you, because you are an interesting person. You are saying you are UPND, and you made very, very clear issues yesterday that our viewers were interested in. Today you are saying your father was using a lot of traditional medicine, and you are saying you can't take, short of saying you can't get Vizimba from a loser. Is that what you are saying? Especially that your father was using traditional medicine. Explain.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, anyone, it's a common sense thing, it's a common knowledge. Even if you are going to use animals, right, to get powers from animals, you're going to use a strong animal. That's common sense. Edgar Lungu was, if HH was to use Vizimba, he would have used Lupia Banda, who performed better than Edgar Lungu, He would have used Sata, who performed better than Edgar Lungu. But what is he going to do with Edgar Lungu, really? So that is the kind of thinking with our PF. They think like HH wants to do anything. And for anything, why should you, deny HH the opportunity to see the former president? Why are you doing that? It's a question that why? Edgar Lungu saw the body of Lupia Banda, he saw the body of KK, he saw these guys. But why are you trying so hard, You're trying so hard to prevent this guy from seeing the body of Edgar Lungu. It is just, the issue of the hatred that you guys have against HH. But you know what? HH is a big guy. Like I said yesterday, you're going to cry and cry and cry. And in as much as you think like God will answer you, even God will answer HH. You think like this God only hears your prayers. He hears all of us. All of us, we can pray to him and he will hear our prayer. Let the family let go of Edgar Lungu, let us bury Edgar Lungu. For me, I can tell you for free. And do you know what I will tell you today? Me, I was sponsored by Edgar Lungu. I went to study under a scholarship of Edgar Lungu. All of us, we wanted to see his body.
And this family would not behave as if it is the only family that want to see the body. All of us want to see the body. And then they get to a point of saying, we're going to bury in South Africa. You think that Edgar Lungu only belongs to this family? No, it belongs to all of us. So they are going to lose. The way they lost it in the High Court, even if they want, they can appeal to the highest court. Like I said yesterday, they are going to lose and lose and lose and lose. And Edgar Lungu is not even happy with the family. This family, if Edgar Lungu was to come back, he would say, you have made me suffer. You have made me suffer, and I don't want you closer to my body. That's what Edgar Lungu.
The last question before you go. The last question, just a minute, my brother, before you go. You are making a lot of confessions here. Your father was using a lot of traditional medicines. Do you also use? Yes, just wait.
It appears if it's something bad, you know.
No, yeah, I can see you already defending it.
You think because I'm an African, I will not use any traditional medicine? Is that what you?
No, I want to ask. You've confessed that your father was using a lot of traditional medicines. You now, as a son, do you still use traditional medicines?
I don't use traditional medicine.
Okay. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. Thank you for calling.
So you guys continue speculating. HH is a big guy, and he has been a big guy before the death of Edgar Lungu. So the death of Edgar Lungu will not change anything. You know, he's going to win the election, and we're going to give him a vote again and again and again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. But that's the purpose of this broadcast, is that it's open, anyone can call, including our brothers, the UPND. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
I'm the man Anonymous calling from Kwajoni.
Yes, Anonymous.
Yeah, so Ndandanga Mchilenje kuli wakabesha gambo mbalenji.
Yes.
So chakutangu na kulishindu tuamba mchilenja chilatondwa tati chitwi. Okay? This in English we call it a taboo. Point ya kwamba ni kwamba amleke wakabesha watalike kuchafua president. Kambosho watochita di campaign wa president. There is no way muntu omwi he comes and say the court has transferred the body to the government. And then today he comes out and say we've never seen. How is that even possible? We know how desperate they've been with this body. So if he can come today and say we didn't even see, does he think we are children, this man? It's unfortunate that after being in opposition for 12 years, for 20 years, they're just letting go of power like they never even suffered to get it. It's a shame. I think this is a wrong guy to be advising President HH. I don't know if they're working together, but he's embarrassing us Rangers, this man. We are very ashamed of that man. Okay? We are very ashamed that man. Even watching a lecturer to the president, a former lecturer to the president, coming out the way he came out. How far is he going to be imbalanced, this man, with his obsession for the body of ECL? My appeal to the country is that this man has showed us who he is. Those who still have, I don't know if I can say it, hope in him, but I think he has showed us everything that he can do. And as Zambians, let's come together. We've been imbalanced, and I think it's enough. We need to reach a point where we need to agree to say certain things is not normal. It's a taboo. I never used to believe so much in these witchcraft things, but I think with what is going on, Ambassador, I can only believe. So my conclusion is that Batu Sevanya Wakabesha, Amleke, Baiboshe Panch, but stay introspect, Kwamba in Shin don't Chita. Kambosho Batosha Mchile Turambai, Tashi Chilatondua. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, my brother, and thank you for that direct message to Honorable Murilo Kabesha, the Attorney General, and I hope that he's listening and he can listen to that advice. Hello, caller, please. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Nameless Ambassador.
Nameless, make your contributions.
Mkoi na chumva oba munina abo balela ndati abafyashi babo bali kweteko ifya kuikata ikata ninkwata kufe question then narasansha kupano so question inkwete ushe ngaba panga post mortem. How far does the body go for it to be kept? Hello kuli abo na chumva balela ndati abo bachirara ndapafya kuikata ikata ineba mwamba nali kweteko kupanda kwobwanga kunu moku so nali shiba sana ifyo fibomba omuntu nga chakwe bati nafwa elo nafiria bakwata okwimba ekilindi so firafi neba pangire postmortem palya iya shiri bapo kabiri omuntu uli ofwire barakwata okumukakaula so ngashako bati kuli ama private medical personnel kumalia shaya pusana kulabo okusenda kwefintu fimo ama body part so ngaba bila uli omubiri ilingi takuba n'okwishibelo ilingili ne kwaliba n'emiti basansa ku muntu kulya but ilingili nga chako bati nabembe ekirindi balasenda kotuma body part tumo palupwalimbi palifya kubati kwali bamaisho mwako bati limbi filindi bembile pabilishani elo kwabe fyo so ine fidya ba UPN bati tileta chiweme elo automatically fe balisenda kona fimo ila ine manda bayimba ilanga chako bati bali yoko ikabela ba Harry Kalaba kulyanga tabakabemo ni shibali ibika mufidya elo kwali bano okusenda kwefishimba fimonomba patete ndumbule
my brother
wako associated na power na influence
my brother listen
elo fila bomba due to the fact that the government wale pushing asana to see the body and to an extent they do postmortem automatically they have done something evil iyo not no doubt eyo because I've worked in a family, but I'm not going to go into detail. But for now, nalifumamo nalisafe kuli yes cause such kind of thing. But Nigeria fibomba inefe so much. So due to the fact that the government reached the post-mortem, I know exactly in affiliate tika. Then yepo ninga period apopele feba mwamba.
Banemwibutuka. Oh, well, I wanted a lot of questions from him, especially that he says he formerly practiced, witchcraft, although he has abandoned it. But he's saying most of the things that have happened is witchcraft based. I wanted to ask him, I wish he can call back. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Precious Inonga from Livingstone.
My dear sister, make your contribution.
Yes. How are you?
Very well.
Yes, I just want to contribute on Vakavesha. I'm very much disappointed with Vakavesha because Vakavesha is the one who told the whole world that they have the body for ECL. So I'm very disappointed to hear him telling the nation that they don't have the body. So it's a question mark now to see that even Vakavesha, the one who was showing the nation like he means well, he is going to tell the truth to the people of Zambia. But now, he wants now to start again fooling the nation by saying we don't have the body. It was him who told the nation that we have the body. So why should we change to say they don't have the body? So just let these people, they should just bring the body, wherever they took it, just tell them to bring the body. Please, people of Zambia, these people, they don't mean well for sure. And for those who comes Papejian or those by UPND, continue allowing them honorable. And when they start speaking what they know, don't even try to argue with them. Let them believe in what they believe. And us also will believe in what we believe. As we believe in justice. Witnessing every.
Oh, my dear brother, our line is cutting. Our dear sister from Livingstone. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
Sorry, Anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Ambassador, ili ashiria Lungu ili nali tutove mitima sana. You know, if you need to tutambire no kumone if you think if you come Zambia, I think ni insta ya kulande chishinka ino. This brother who just called recently, we watch Lumbula pakutiro kwebati HH kutabula shane fishimba kumuntu uri loser. So, according to what he's trying to say, he also mentioned of Rupia Banda. I think the kenomba turete kwe fishing kapatebo pakutiro kwebati charo chishiwe. Againde chilema ererwa amba kwelili ashiri afishimba. Lekeni charo chishiwe fishing kaba ambassador. What happened by Rupia Banda? Rupia Banda ilo afuire. There was a period, there was a time ilo againde chilema afu minekura community house. He went uko alichitumbi cha Rupia Banda. Uko aikele mudia for 20 minutes. Nechitumbi cha Rupia Banda. He has been doing this. So ichi mushupere sana pale ba Edgar Lungu. It's because ba Edgar Lungu wafu in South Africa. You understand? So icho alefuaisha sana sana ni access ya kushitafira fini achite pa Rupia Banda. That's the reason why you are able to see wa MMD bali mukonka bonse. It is because of that. So icho alefua na pale Edgar Lungu is to make sure that all the PF members ngapuisha ma rituals nshibora yonse yapo akuriena at 2026 election shasenda eronga asenda aka making sure kutulo kwe that constitution akachinje akabini president wa muyaya ngamwamo na for the first time in the history of Zambia kuli Livingstone kulia they had ama issues etwa twashira mkura umfo ama issues ya kwa uyati nani abama Freemasons for the first time kubasumenisha mu Zambia. So these issues twalisunge fintu ifingi mazamitimashiesu. The only thing we can tell the nation is that we have a president who doesn't respect Christian values. This man, you can tell even moments of Wakabesha. Things are bad in the nation. We need to rise as a nation and make sure that on 13th August, we just vote them out. Mumuchi and Shifi. Simple as that. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mkoiba mwamba. Ine nebo nemulese. Ine nachituma. Nachila kwa toku $1,000,000. If you imitish kwa toku bomba.
Bane imomwa mwasokolo le chintu chikalamba. Yeah, never nalami pelenchita. You know, this area we are discussing, a lot of people, we have no idea what it is. And it's not making sense that someone can be obsessed with the body of a dead man, that they want rituals. A lot of people are not understanding. Of course, many Africans know about this. Even more you were practicing this. And another caller, Uriwaba UPND, his father used to do this. You have said, you have since left it, but you were in the practice. So tell us in your view from your previous practice, we understand you've surrendered your life to Christ, but in knowledge for the audience, if you're what do you think is happening over the body of the late president?
So ine mkoiba mwambe kona fuma kufamili kumyesu na fiele nishi watata bali ninganga ine ba mwamba mwamfai
mkwai
so na kulile munganda demone fintu na insoka shilenda kwa dibe insoka mwai katafila finero mwako memiti mkwai so na ine na kula ninshi bemiti efyo shibomba so na libombela kwa abantu bakwe bati jofine chilindishani so na lishibemiti efyo shibomba so pali liliashi efyo linga kwata fyo kulanda vyakwe bati filafine ba government ba pancho kwe bati uli omubili
bale fire okuchita find out because the government when they dawe the Ken family ishike pantukuli fya kulandaranda and everything nomba bena bali pamfya fe so lyo mupampa mina ulya chirangiroro chakwe bati chirye chiri ndinishi ba Edgar Lungu bafa bali tamkiri okuimba ni danger teti mwimbe chiri ndi family taila panga decision atawo twala shikiroko so chirye chiri ndinga bayimba chiri feno olupwa na imwe kulupwa kulya uli omuntu kutu mwamutrapa ulya waimbe chilindi so ifunga chako bati batuchita plot kutu wabombera pona ifwe twaishwe evyo tuchita nomba problem wepo ingirire sana nangu mu spirituality filafine ba government bachitire postmortem danger iraini so ila postmortem mainly ninshwaine amapati ya moyamo n'abasenda ko mainly amapati yafuire yabafe 4 emkwai so mulya muchilindi kwali befyo tuita nsalondolole sana so mulya muchilindi nga basenda kwa amapati ya moyamo balabika nomba kwali bemitisha kusanshamo elo mwabika mulya muchilindi mukona mulya emu mwabika emiti mulya elo uli omuntu imbile echilindi chilya in this case government kula wamolanda tawe info limbi kutu yaito omuntu wa palefi kwa ikulaba asamba mulya mwine na asamba kone mitishimo provided uli omuntu wali nokuingira mu kusenda ko ifintu fimu fya pala nalala ndako fe mishishi ero ififi ya sharateti ndondo ile mkwa ikulaba mu asenda ko mishishi yako mu mube yako shimo na fimu efirundo fya mubiri ero mwabika mulya mwine mu chilindi ifyo fene fyo ngabali senda ko fimonishi mukonfuafe nokulanda tawo wa government n'abachita withdraw nga bapanga pe mistake ya kuchita withdraw ni shimwaishi batawe automatically n'abasendako ifintu fimoneri ya shinalipwa already ila speech bagabesha bachipela na chishi batawe ili ya shi nalipwa kale so ba government bari kwete fyo mwiso wakwe bati filafine baimbile chilindi na fimu bale fo ili kishafe still paka fyoli omubiri bakwateko ama substance ero limo neshine mfumu kwa inashena ili ashishire shiba so uli omuntu nga ni president filafine ne mfumu ali alanda ne mfumu uli alapere mfumu indalama ne mfumu shali mupanda kwa amana kozi ili yashi ba Edgar Lungu bali ni former head of state there is no way mfumu shaba quiet so enende mukuchimuna shandi nemfumu shirimo imvuvu cause there is no way mwinge karazi kutumwa ikara shanizi omuntu nafwa bale mupaka swanelyo nafwa batimfumu na shikarazi so shije mfumu shali shiberi ya shefyo lyenda so shije shimu amini mfumu na bashipera ko vyotupia ndina ma advice kwali bukusenda babe padawe tule mone mfumu shani tule tandalira bantu bali ifuirwa shani bale bapanda kutumano efya kubomba mulya muchilindi na shani kozi ba government tababa sure family nga ikaleta bode na ngushani so inefyo ninga chitafe food advice kuli barupwa filafine batile postmortem paleli ashinali kwa ba family bakashike feko balefu ila kozi ba bode nga yaikala sana na ena ikakwata problem takwa bakozi imbamu mkwai babikafe matubu bala simitero amini nga baisura fyo mubiri imbamu irashupa kano irashupa fe kano bashika fe within the period of 3 weeks yena kubashi cause mubiri ni shwambo kulawo no so a problem ili yali fe bwino na ba family bali kweta ama wishi yabo kuya chitafe respect no mbefine futi na bensuro mubiri epa berere problem ukushika ina kutoba chitafe advice bafwaye we ya kushika fe ba family and parama difference because omubiri wala onauka nisho muntu tamwa muchindike sana but ba government bena mwishi befe nabasenda ko fimo na fimo fefya ko batisha ko bonfya ko emkwa inaba kwato kusenda ko iyo naija nangu muntu tesa tani kiri nangu nishani yo nabasenda ko murefu wana mutamurefu wako because postmortem mwe bacha ile tabasenda po family member wonse kuli fe ba police ba South Africa fe bale be pa na shani fe ali fe mu fin to dongu fe fyonse fyo so kuli fi mu fe ba sendele ko efishimba mko ifya ko fyako fimo ifyo fyena mu vile mu aishiba mko.
Thank you very much, my brother. So, but what was your turning point to Christ?
Oh, aho mkwai. So fidye fintu ine na titirefe take over kuli batata. So na alishiba sana fyo fiwomba. Elo nangu file government bali chita postmortem. Ili hata kwa lino kuba chita lao. Ila inefe baba titila lao chita mo postmortem mubili. N'abasenda kwe fintu fimo ero nakuli ulawi n'omukashana ulya nalisa checking abale chekulo mubiri nangushani bala kwato kulya mwendalamu kabiri nabena medically nga ilife through ma hospital fairs umuntu nafwa bala ba strict. That's why kubela umuntu wapa family afili abamo mulya ukosele pantu muntu bala mukakaola so yali amabodi bakakaola omuntu fira balepula enkoko emkwai efyo bafunya ero bachecking amabodi ogani ero baishiba nomba problem ifyafuire so nomba kuli okusendako ishimba ku muntu bali abantu babomba mulya kolaba okulanda na bena ero mwabika pwendalama tabakana kabina bena nishininchito emkwai ero bachekola ko tumoto balefoya so fide fishimba basenda mainly bamukwali banokufiba omufya babasana mu mapowers pya pala omuntu limbini ndoshi limbini sataniki bamu mainly for political powers kwali wokubumvya so definitely bakainde n'abasendako fima mukwali ero kwa mwinga mwena bali kwetera amatrip same death rate kabaganza amatrip bushe bali tusha panga ndana nguchalishani so fyonse fyo naba chitafyene fyo whether muchitesha ifyo fyene fya kuchitendwani kane naba chitapati advice ninga pera balupo ine azumuntu wabomba puna fide fintu ngero shafe kumubiri wabalungu ozumubiri ni nshwana nefyo bayiswire podele kusanza ulobu ikabiri kwali befyo fya kusende fingero chimo efyo isokuba uli omuntu nga nakwatako n'abantu abali mutunga tawe embitulefuwa mukasendeko efinefi kwali bafyo fyakusenda efingi ku mubiri so naira postmortem nga mwamuna yali very secretive so due to that bena n'abasendako fyakusenda efyo ine ndishuwa ine.
Yeah, okay. Now, my brother, thank you very much. Thank you for the insight. But my last question is, how did you turn to Christ? Because mwacheba tunoba mwali pidibuka mulibena Kristu mwali fireka.
So ine nombi fina chalengele ntaninge fia kwewati fide fintu na chitelefe inheriti na banshi felo twale bombana batatu kufuma fina kubwa ichi so fide fintu after batatu bafwa nambo kufibombana fiena mkwai na isamba fia isamba kunchitataki so ine mkwai na alikuwa tindinganga elo takwa bokula bomfya ifya mitita ufunga fira fine kwa shima pepo wafunga shima pepo na funga ifo twale funga mkwai kutu kwali bane nemitisha kuruba kuri mbiwa walifunga limbini 40 days elo ule kwa tokubombela zishinga ngaba so ifo twali bomba sana ama issue ya pale fyo na ashani so ine ninshwana government efe yako serele pa mubiri nomba due to the fact that bali chitaka de access mubiri ili ashinali po
Okay.
Kana problem yini nga bali chitaka access mubiri still ngatakuwa di postmortem provided naba chitaka access mubiri ila ba ni problem again kwali wo muntu achitafe body view take provided nalo le shapo kula bana basambe miti ngana usambe miti elo wayalo le shapali body view that's why mukamona indu pwashimoshira kana tawe fwe body view takwabe nishi pali nalo shipa pwedi ya shifi wakanisha mkwai epo na ala perioda popera.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, you know, this is EMV. You never know who's on the other side of the divide. You just don't know who will call. And sometimes you have profound calls like that, whether you educated or not, you just get another side of education from the other side. This was an emergency broadcast. We've been at it, for the last 3.5 hours. Aini atinechipela nkula nacho chilatusha. Even the diesel engine rests. All those calling, I think after these 2 calls, a lot of people now want to contribute. Let's look at the time and just allow me also to recharge, to rest, so that maybe we can have another broadcast tomorrow. But if I go on, then it wears me so much. So thank you for joining this broadcast, and thank you for all the callers. This is your show. I know it's difficult to make these calls in Zambia, and this platform therefore comes on so that you can call and freely express yourselves. All we demand is that you should be respectful. We respect other opinions. That's why even our brother from the UPND can come here and insult us, but we'll give him a platform to say what he wishes to say. So thank you very much. We might have another broadcast tomorrow. God bless you. I'll leave you with the videos that we intended to play today, including that of Kabesha, who was backpedaled.
A High Court ruling has temporarily halted the repatriation of former Zambian President Edgar Lungu's remains, escalating a dispute that has persisted for nearly 10 months. The court in Pretoria, acting on an urgent application by the family, has ordered the Zambian government to release the remains to a funeral home of the family's choice, with the order in effect until May 21. To talk more about this, we're now joined by Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, who is the official spokesperson for the Patriotic Front, the former ruling party of Zambia. Ambassador, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. What is the reaction of the Patriotic Front's reaction to what has been playing out between the Lungu family as well as the government of Zambia around the remains and the body of President Lungu? And I ask this given just how unfortunate and perhaps messy the situation has now become.
We are in total shock. The entire country is in total shock of the events that have occurred the last 2 days. We learned of an activity by the Zambian government that they were attempting to illegally retrieve the body of the remains of Zambia's 6th president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, from the mortuary, from the morgue that has been holding him, the funeral parlor, 2 Mountains. And our lawyers frantically tried to stop the Zambian officials, accompanied by South African police, from taking that body. That body was taken in the evenings of Wednesday, and the family lawyers rushed to the Gauteng Pretoria court and obtained an interdict to stop the government from repatriating that body and to immediately surrender the body as it was taken illegally from the funeral parlor. And yesterday, on Thursday, the families and lawyers and their lawyers were frantically to establish where the body was. The Attorney General of the Republic of Zambia and the South African police did not comply with that urgent order to surrender the body back to the family or to the funeral parlor of their choice. And then we learned very late in the night, when they finally found the body, that a postmortem was conducted on the remains of the late president without the authority, consent, or presence of any family member or lawyer for the family.
Ultimately, this has to be resolved one way or the other. What is the view of the Patriotic Front around what the most amicable way is to resolve this ongoing dispute between the family and the government?
The family has been very clear, and the Patriotic Front has also been very clear. The family wants to put the remains of the late president in Zambia. They want him buried in Zambia. They want this matter to be settled. And it should be done with the wishes of the late president and the wishes of the family. But the Zambian government has been bullying itself and insisting that the late president should be buried in accordance with the state protocols. The former president, President Edgar Lungu, had issues. The family has had issues, and they are merely determined that the wishes of the late president are honored, such as that at a funeral and burial that the current president must not attend. And you must know that that is not strange. For example, here in America, there's a famous senator who died and demanded that the current president, Donald Trump, should not attend the funeral. And President Donald Trump respected the wish of the family. In this case, President Hakainde Hichilema and his government have not demonstrated that they are willing to honor the wishes of the late president, hence the standoff.
Yeah.
And the remains of the 6 presidents have at no point been in the physical custody of the government of Zambia. They were held by the South African Police Service throughout these few days which have passed in connection with their inquest. Secondly, the government of the Republic of Zambia has respected and will continue to respect every order issued by the courts. That is not a matter of convenience. It is a matter of principle. Thirdly, the question of how a former president of the Republic of Zambia is to be laid to rest is not closed by the latest court order. Dr. Lungu served as president of Zambia for 7 years. He was head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of our defense forces. The duty the Republic owes to that office is not extinguished by a single order on custody, and government will continue through the proper legal channels and with the patience this matter requires to ensure the honors due to a former head of state are properly discharged. To the Lungu family, the position of the Zambian government is what it has been throughout. The value of a former head of state was never meant to be a contest, and it need not remain one. Government's willingness to engage with the family in good faith to find an arrangement that honors the 6th president is undiminished. Our position remains unchanged. President Hakainde Hichilema has been consistent throughout. His interest in this matter is constitutional. His concern is and has always been that his predecessor is accorded the dignity the office demands.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on What Now. I am Olamide Adeyemi. We begin here in Africa, where Zambia's Attorney General says the government has custody of Lungu's remains, which have been removed from a funeral home in Pretoria. This despite his family's claims that a separate urgent court order ruled that Lungu's body will be returned to the facility. The Zambian government says it has now taken custody of the former president Edgar Lungu's body for a state funeral. The government had been in a long-standing dispute with his family over where he should be buried after he died at a clinic in South Africa last June while receiving treatment at an undisclosed location for an undisclosed illness. His family were open to give him a private burial ceremony in Johannesburg that will exclude the presence of his successor and political rival, the incumbent president of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema. They maintain that one of Edgar Lungu's last wishes was that the current president should neither be anywhere near his body nor preside over his funeral. Last year, a South African High Court sided with the Zambian government, ordering the repatriation of Lungu's remains for a state funeral. Edgar Lungu led Zambia from 2015 until 2021 when he lost the elections by a huge margin to Hichilema. For a closer look at the rift over the burial of Lungu and the Zambian leadership, international relations expert and founder Pan-African Forum Limited, Dr. David Matsanga, joins me from the United Kingdom. Doctor, thank you for joining us on The World Now. Well, this is the latest twist that we're seeing in a 10-month saga over what should happen to the former president's body, following a long-standing feud between both sides. But aside the court's decision, what's your own reaction?
This is a very sad moment for Africa. It is un-African for us to have this as a headline. When somebody has died in Africa, we don't go to this level. We have exposed our ignorance of the African values, African customs. I am one of the few people who has written to my younger man. He's younger than me because he was part of my group that used to come to listen to my lectures in London when he was in Birmingham University, President Harry Kalaba. I have written to him this morning, telling him, please, don't do this. If there is a family, you are not next of kin. If there is a problem of push and pull, just avoid this public court battles in and out, in and out. I think the family has a say. If the will says he doesn't want to be buried wherever it is, I have asked President Kalaba to just avoid, leave it, surrender it, let the burial take place, and that's it.
Beyond, the court rulings, this is a really difficult time for the family. Now the government seems that they do not want to, accept this court ruling. But how should one interpret the Zambian government's insistence on a state's funeral, considering, it was their president at some point, but to you, does it reflect genuine national protocol, or this is another political calculation?
It's a political calculation because he knows he's going to lose the job. There's an election just coming in a few months in Zambia, you know that. And he wants to use the body of the man he hated so much to have a political capital. So I don't think the family is willing to go that route. This man had a bad relationship with the late. They had battles. He had removed the cars. He had removed the security. He has told him to return everything that was worth. Then why do you want him when he's dead? I think on this one, I stand with the family. The family has a right to take their person. They are the next of kin. The president is not the next of kin. Mr. Kalaba is not the next of kin to Mr. Lungu. Why is it so personal? He hated him when he was alive. He never gave him medicine. He never allowed him to go out for even treatment. You can imagine. So why do you want him now? He's dead. Above all, this is a shame, a big shame for Africa. And in fact, it's a big, big shame for us Africans to pretend to be doing things like the things on the Lion and the Jewel or Lakunule. There's no need of fighting over a dead body. You are head of state. If the family says he doesn't want to see you, leave him. Why do you want to use his body as a politics when you never liked him at all?
This is a big issue considering the history, such as the President Kalaba's 2017 arrest and detention on treason charges under Lungu's administration. And from what you have said, it seems that this is sort of, payback period. But this raises concerns as to the integrity of the current leadership in Zambia at the moment. And now that Lungu actually dropped a statement that it should not be anywhere close to his body, how much of this dispute is now shaped by grievances?
Another court also has issued an order for the body to be returned to where they found it, because they have nowhere to fly the body. Where are they going to take the body? The body is now under the custody of the government of the Republic of South Africa. And every airport, every plane, every by road, by sea, by what, you can't take out the body until the court orders are served properly, executed. So there is nothing, it is a waste of time. This gentleman died in South Africa. He was not dying in a proper way as a head of state. He died as a person who had been actually victimized. Let him be buried by his family. The family is anguished. There is no peace between the family of Lungu and the family of Kirema. Leave the man to be buried. As an African elder, I don't think this is something that we should go on haggling. What do you think these people, the Western countries, the Europeans look at us? What do we think that we know something, but we don't know? What are they saying now? Lots of things about how shallow we are, fighting over a dead body. Another thing is that reconciliation in Africa seems not to be there. There are no, people don't reconcile. There are so many places where I've been in the middle of such a crisis, like in Angola, Santos. I had to pick a phone to call the president of Angola to say, hello, what's going on? Allow a man to be buried. I don't see any reason.
Originally, there are processes, in handling the funeral of former leaders, heads of state, and also, presidents. Perhaps that's what the Zambian government is trying to ensure in this case, aside the political rift on ground. But let's talk about what presidents this really sets for how African governments now handle, the burial of their former leaders as against their family wishes. How can this be balanced between the state interest, historical record, and also the family's wishes for privacy and dignity in any case?
It teaches the culture of bad politics we have on the continent of Africa. Chiluba never wanted Mr. Kaunda to be buried in Zambia. He stripped Kaunda off. These Zambians have got very bad manners. They stripped Kaunda of citizenship, jailed him. He never wanted him to be buried. Fortunately, or unfortunately for God, God called Mr. Chiluba before Mr. Kaunda. We struggled in Africa to make sure that Mr. Kaunda is released from jail. This man, again, also with his friend, it teaches us there is something wrong with our democracy, our politics, our governance. We must, actually, Africa needs to go back, my sister, to a drawing board. Is this type of one man, one vote democracy, elections,